Hello everyone, just wait, just double checking that everything is up and running. Just give me a couple seconds here, just let me see if this is working. It seems like it, and it looks like we are live. Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to another live play-by-play video of NHL playoffs. Today we've got a very interesting one here. We've got a game between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Philadelphia Flyers. Game 3 of this series. The Flyers are going to be looking to make it a series and get their first win of the series, cutting the deficit to the Canes to a 2-1 series. Well, the Hurricanes are going to be looking to walk into Philadelphia, take Game 3, and take a 3-0 series lead with the opportunity to sweep the Philadelphia Flyers, if I am correct, on Saturday. So this is a big game here. We're going to be doing some play-by-play. This could be the only game I do of this series, depending on how long it goes. So it's going to be a very interesting one. Once again, just let me get a couple of things straightened out here, folks, and then we should be good to go. So just give me a second here, guys. I do apologize. Just give me one quick minute here, folks. Looks like things are good, so that should be fantastic. Just give me one quick minute here, and then we should be good to go. So, hello everyone, if you guys are just joining us. This is going to be a very interesting one. We did a game stream a couple days ago for Game 1 of Vegas Anaheim, which was a very interesting game, and we'll see how Carolina Philadelphia goes. We've got two of the best goaltenders in the NHL in the postseason playing here tonight, so this might be a little bit of a low-scoring, low-event game, but we shall see how it goes. Hold on a minute here, folks. I'll just get this stuff set up. So once again, you are not missing a thing. Game is still in intermission or hasn't started yet, so you're not missing a thing. Just give me a second here, folks, and then we'll just discuss what's at stake today. So, as you guys can see, well, I guess you guys can't see, but we got a very interesting series here between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Philadelphia Flyers. So this is going to be a very interesting one. Carolina is currently up 2-0. They have not lost one singular game this postseason. They swept the Ottawa Senators, and then they won the first two games of this series. So they're currently 6-0 on the playoffs. So they've been really good. They came from behind last game and won 3-2 in overtime after being down 2-0 early. So that was very interesting. But series is far from over. Philadelphia has the goaltending and the defense to make this a very interesting series. If they can somehow be able to wind up getting some momentum going. And for the Carolina Hurricanes, once again, they have been dominant all playoffs long. So they are going to be trying to make this a 3-0 series lead here today. So we do have a very interesting one here. Once again, I have been looking recently at recent second round series where 2-0 series leaders have actually lost in the second round. And that's actually happened a couple times over the last 5 years. They just showed recently on the live broadcast about how the Carolina Hurricanes actually themselves were up 2-0 a couple of years back and lost in 7 to the New York Rangers after winning both games on home ice. So that's going to be very interesting. Once again, Philadelphia is far from over in this series. On top of that, the Vegas Golden Knights came from behind after being down 2-0 to the President's Trophy champs in the shortened season, the realigned division year, and they wound up winning 6 games. Last year, the Leafs were up 2-0 in that first round series against Florida, and they wound up losing that series in 7 games. So just because the Carolina Hurricanes have looked pretty dominant, they have not lost a singular game this postseason, and they're up 2-0 in the series, does not mean the series is over. Philadelphia puts their best foot forward in both today and Saturday's games. The series is back to level square, heading back to Carolina. So I still think Carolina probably does win this series, but I'm not going to say that they're going to sweep this series. I think this series is far from being a sweep, and I still think Philadelphia's got a couple of wins at the very least left in them. So going to be a big game here. I do think if Carolina wins tonight and goes up 3-0, Philadelphia's chances are next to none to come back in this game. But if Philadelphia wins this one, I wouldn't put it against them to potentially come back and win this one. So we shall wait and see on that. Once again, you're not missing anything. Anthems are just going on here, so you are not missing a thing. Once again, we do have Canes versus Flyers here, which is going to be one heck of a game, one heck of a interesting game 3. This might be the only time I do one, especially if it goes in a sweep or potentially even goes 5 games. So this might be the only time I do this series in round 2. So we shall wait and see how this one goes. They're just entering the ice. So a couple of interesting notes. I think there's no Tippett tonight for the Philadelphia Flyers, it sounds like, and no Noah Cates. Both are dealing with injuries. Tippett was a game time decision, or it was at least questionable, but he has been ruled out. So there's no Tippett for the Philadelphia Flyers. There's no Noah Cates for the rest of the series. So Philadelphia's got a couple of bad blows on their team. For the Carolina Hurricanes, I think Nikishin might be back. I'm not exactly sure on that. Once again, I'm not 100% positive on that or not, but it does sound like Nikishin would be back for the Carolina Hurricanes tonight, so that would be a really big boost here for Carolina. So those are some of the injury updates going into today's game. Once again, save percentage wise, the Carolina Hurricanes have the best save percentage with Frederick Anderson in the entire NHL, and Vladar's save percentage is third amongst goaltenders in the entire NHL. So once again, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Carolina Hurricanes, they have two of the best goaltenders in the entire NHL. So this could be a more of a defensive battle that we see go like 1-0 or 2-1. That's a possibility. They're just showing one of the best lines in hockey right now, which is the Hall, Stankoven, and Blake line, which has been driving all of the offense for the Carolina Hurricanes these playoffs. So very interesting to note there. Once again, it's going to be very interesting to see how this works. Once again, during first intermission, I'll touch on some things, talking about some trophies that were recently being announced, as well as the draft lottery, just recapping how that went, and then seeing how yesterday's games went and previewing tomorrow's games. We do have a live stream coming out tomorrow. It will be at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. We have Sabres versus Habs Game 2. Sabres took Game 1 yesterday, which we'll touch on later. So this is going to be one heck of a game between the Sabres and the Habs tomorrow. And once again, Buffalo is one of the best arenas this teams like to play in, because that stadium was rocking last night. So I do think that's going to be a very interesting game to stream tomorrow. But today we've got Carolina, Philadelphia in Philadelphia. So that's going to be very interesting once again. They're just doing the anthems, so you are not missing a thing. And once we get started, I will be doing my live play-by-play as I usually do. So very interesting to note there. At this current point in time, the way I'm thinking for next week's live streams, Monday next week, probably going to do a live stream for the Colorado-Minnesota series, because I haven't done one of those games yet. So Game 4 in Minnesota, I will probably do a game stream. And then Game 5 between the Game 4, or actually Game 4 between Buffalo and Montreal, I'm planning on doing on Tuesday next week. Once again, the times are to be announced at this point in time, because we don't know if Carolina Philadelphia is going to go to a Game 5 on Monday, so they haven't announced the times yet. But I do plan on doing Buffalo Montreal on Tuesday next week, and I do plan on doing Colorado Minnesota on Monday next week. So at this current point in time, those are the preliminary things for those series. So we shall wait and see. But right now, it does sound like I'm going to do one tomorrow for sure at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Then we'll do Buffalo Montreal Game 4 on Tuesday, and Colorado Minnesota Game 4 on Monday next week. So I hope you guys all tune in for those ones. Once again, I do plan on doing a couple of videos after this and tomorrow morning as well. I think there's a trade rumor that I almost got posted before I started this video, but was not able to, so I'll have to do that afterwards. We've got, of course, a couple fan reactions and game recaps that are coming over the next couple of days. I was supposed to post a mock trade or mock draft video tonight, talking about my first mock draft post lottery, but I think I'm going to leave that until tomorrow morning. I'll post it probably early tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. And then I'm hoping to get probably an off-season preview video out tomorrow, so we shall see how things go, but that's current schedule for right now. We should also have another trade rumor video on Saturday, as well as a couple of game recap fan reaction videos. So I hope you guys all tune in for those ones. Once again, I did post recently on the channel what the NHL had a script, also my power rankings video, so I hope you guys all tune in for those ones. They're on my channel, so if you want to go check them out, I suggest you do. There are some very interesting videos that I did recently, so I hope you guys all tune in for those ones. But this is going to be a very interesting one. Looks like we're just about to get started here. Hurricanes and Flyers. Anderson is 6-0 in the postseason so far with a 1.02 GAA, 958 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. While for Dan Vladar and the Philadelphia Flyers, Vladar has been 4-4 so far this year with a 1.89 GAA, 928 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. So both of them have been very good. Let me know down in the chat below. Leave a chat, leave a comment. Love your guys' thoughts. Who do you think winds up coming out on top in this game? Is it the Hurricanes? Is it the Flyers? And what do you think happens tonight? Love your guys' thoughts on all of that down in the comment section below. But we're just about to get ready for a game start between the Hurricanes and the Flyers here. We're just about to get going on the face-off dot. First game in Philadelphia in this series. First game in Philadelphia since they won the series back a week ago over the Pittsburgh Penguins in Philadelphia, 1-0 in overtime. So this place is going to be rocking after what happened there, and let's hope the Flyers are able to make this a series. Flyers open the draw with the win, and here's Cam York. York sends it into the middle, and here it comes. I think that's Garnet Hathaway. Hathaway trying to find some sort of a passing lane. Now fighting for it in the corner with a couple of Hurricanes, and the Canes are able to flip it into the neutral zone. Drysdale banks it off the boards, and Hathaway dumps it into the Carolina Hurricane zone. Anderson behind his own net tries to clear it, blocked by a Flyer, and Couturier can't get to it. Now he does. Couturier trying to find some sort of passing lane, gets it to point, shoots, and that one's stopped by Anderson. Too many bodies in front, and now maybe a 3-on-2 here for Carolina. Chatfield across to Stahl, back to Chatfield. Chatfield with feathers, one on goal, stopped by Vladar, and he's going to hold on. Face off in the Philadelphia zone, and now rough stuff happening early on in this game. Chatfield, I think that was Konechny taking a couple shots at each other. So very interesting to note there, but there is going to be an offensive zone face-off draw here for Carolina. Once again, Glendening got that puck to Couturier. He passed it up to Drysdale, and Drysdale shot that puck wide, but Couturier was able to get there. And then once again, Hathaway hit his rear into the bench door. So Hathaway's hunched over on the bench. That's not good. That was just a little bit of a weird bump from one of the Carolina Hurricanes players right into the door. So that's not great. Carolina does win the faceoff draw, keeping the offensive zone. And now they're fighting for it in the corner along with a couple of Flyers. And Carolina's able to poke it free. Chatfield gets it back below the goal line, trying to get it to Svechnikov. Can't hold it. And now Philadelphia's got it. Forrester sends it. A little bit of a break here. Konechny shoots. Stopped by Anderson. Great stop on a partial breakaway from Travis Konechny. Philadelphia does have it in the neutral zone, and they're just going to dump it into the offensive zone. And Carolina's now got it. The Hurricanes have it below the goal line, and that's Shane Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere to Chatfield. Chatfield dumps it into the offensive zone, and Drysdale's going to reclaim the puck in the defensive zone. Loops it around the boards, and Philadelphia knocks the Flyers off the puck, gets it in the neutral zone, and they're going to take it back into their own zone. Stankoven with it. Passes it back to, I think that was Blake, but he's intercepted by Philadelphia. And here come the Flyers. Let's see here. I think that's Bump. Tried to keep it in, couldn't, and now Blake's got it to Hall. Hall's got a little bit of a separation here, stops up at the line, tries to pass it back to Blake, can't. Blake does recover, though, gets it to Stankoven. Stankoven around the boards. To the point, shoots! Walker shot blocked. Zegras gets it on the boards, hits it off the wall, and dumps it into the neutral zone. Solid play there. And now here comes Miller, who dumps the puck into the offensive zone. Canes chase after it, and they are able to hold the line for a second. Carolina is able to get there first. They keep the line. Around the boards is Carey, tries to send it to Jankowski, can't. Robertson now gets it to the point, and it's shot, it's tipped, and it's wide. Nice try there from the Hurricanes. Jankowski's got it, and it's taken away. Michkov chips it in, and Philadelphia's going for a race, but they can't get there in time. Carolina's got in the defensive zone. They chip it into the neutral zone where Philadelphia's going to recover and try and reset in their own zone. Drysdale's got it. Pass it back to Sealer. Pass it to Andrea. Andrea to the left of Vladar. Passes it to Sealer. Sealer back to Andrea. In his own zone, Andrea gets it. Philadelphia is able to chip into the neutral zone where Nikishin's going to get it and chip it back into the Flyers zone. Carolina's now got Ehlers. Sends it on goal. Vladar's going to stop it. Andrea's going to pick it up. Sends it around the boards, and that's going to go to the neutral zone. Carolina's got it. Chatfield dumps it in. Vladar's going to stop it, and Philadelphia's going to recover possession. It's intercepted by Carolina. Now they go for a board battle here again between the Canes and the Flyers. And the Canes are going to lose it. Stahl's got it. Passes it across, trying to fight for it with Sealer along the boards and Couturier. Carolina does get it back to the point. Chatfield passes it back to Ehlers, who shoots. It's blocked. Stahl going after it, as does Glendening. Glendening is able to chip it into the neutral zone. Couturier tries to go for it, hit off by a Kane defender, and the Hurricanes have the puck in their own zone as they try and reset. Here is, I think that's Slavin behind his own net. Slavin going to wait. Nice pass there. And now he gets a stretch feed trying to get it to Svechnikov. Does partially, but Philadelphia is able to clear it back into the neutral zone. Carolina has to try and touch up. They can't. Offside call here with 16:15 left in the first period, and a scoreless game between the Hurricanes and the Philadelphia Flyers. Once again, Konechny was in on a partial breakaway, but a spectacular save by Freddie Anderson. Once again, they're just showing another chance for Konechny that he had on a breakaway chance, and I think that was game 2. And yeah, apparently he has no goals and 3 shots this series. So Konechny's trying. He's had a couple of shots, but just no success putting the puck in the net. Flyers win the draw, goes back into their zone. They fight for it along the boards. Carolina's got below the goal line now. Jarvis whacked off the boards by one of the Flyers players. Now the point shoots, and that one's blocked. And now Sanheim gets it, trying to get to the point. Can't. Carolina trying to keep the line. Board battle right in front of the Philadelphia Flyers bench, trying to keep the puck. And Dvorak does get the puck. Dvorak across to one of the Flyers defenders, and they're going to chip the puck in. Solid play there from Philadelphia. Forster goes after it against Miller. Miller does get the puck. Carolina stretch feed, but there's no one there. Philadelphia gets in the neutral zone. Now Philadelphia sends it into the offensive zone. Carolina's got it now again in the defensive zone. Interception, might be a little break here. Zegras, Martone, breakaway! I think he hit the crossbar. Oh, Martone was so close to open the scoring here. Drysdale's now got it. Passes it to Martone, around to Zegras. Zegras gets it back to the point. At the point, York to Drysdale. York's now got it. York fighting for it with one of the Carolina Hurricanes players. He loses it. Hurricanes may have a little bit of break here. Here comes Carolina. Hall drops it to Blake. Blake to Stankoven shoots, and he shoots it wide. That line trying to get back on the board again. Chatfield shot. Hit a body in front, couldn't get anywhere. Hall behind the net, trying to get past, and he does to Blake. Blake to the point, trying to get a pass across, and gets it to Hall. Hall trying to find something here. Taylor Hart to the point, shoots, and that one was stopped. And now Bump's got it. Bump trying to fight for it along with Stankoven. The puck does get out for the Carolina Hurricanes. That is really great news there. But here comes Carolina in the offensive zone. Shot over the net, too high, stays in the Philadelphia zone. Philadelphia does chip it out, and here come the Flyers. They're just going to stop in their own zone and reset. Now a little stretch feed here, shoots, and that one just went wide. Grunstrom tried to chip it on goal, but Anderson was ready for it. Carolina gets out of the zone, tries to stretch feed to Robinson, but it's too far for him. Sanheim reaches the Philadelphia Flyers zone first, and the Flyers are able to get an icing call, so they'll have an offensive zone face-off draw. Once again, here, they're just showing, once again, Martone took a little bit of a spill there, so once again, they're just showing the highlights, and then, of course, Martone had a breakaway here, a nice shot. I think that one just went just over the net, and then another nice try for Grunstrom, but that one, it confused Anderson a little bit, but he was in a good enough position that was able to stop them, even although it was a bouncing puck. So, not bad there. Carolina's out shooting Philadelphia 2-1 so far, but still scoreless. Philadelphia has had a couple of good opportunities, as had Carolina. Sanheim gets it into the neutral zone. However, Carolina intercepts it. Jankowski dumps it in. Robinson chases after it. Ristolainen gets there first, sends it around the boards. Canes can't keep the line. Nikishin just sends it back into the offensive zone for Carolina. Sanheim's now got it in the defensive zone to Ristolainen. Ristolainen with a nice pass along the boards, but it's too far. And this is going to be not icing. It's waved off. Carolina's now got on the defensive zone. Taken away by one of the Philly players. That was Hathaway. Couture's got it now. Looking for a pass. Gets it to Glendening. Backhand. Wide. Nice try there. Andrea trying to keep it. Can't. Canes cleared out off the board. Solid play there from the Hurricanes. Couture's got it now. In his own zone to Sealer. Sealer to the left of Ladar just sends it into the neutral zone. Carolina can't get there. Philadelphia does in the offensive zone. Couturier to Glendening. Tries to Hathaway. Can't. And now Andrea's got it. To York. York Drysdale shoots. Stopped. And now Hathaway trying to get the puck back. Can't. Carolina does get it. For a second, now there's a board battle to the right of Frederick Anderson's. Back to the point. Philadelphia is able to keep it. Couturier's got it. Couturier looking for a passing lane here. It's intercepted, and here comes Seth Jarvis. Jarvis trying to get past Sanheim, or actually that's York, and he can't. What a hit from York on Jarvis. And the Flyers are able to get the puck out of the zone. Philadelphia's now gone the neutral zone. Forrester bringing the puck in. He's got a little bit of space, trying to get around one of Aho. He does. Puck is poke checked away though off of his stick. Nice try there from Forrester. Philadelphia's now gone in their own zone. Dvorak stops up, and he's going to try a passing lane. Dvorak does get there to Sanheim. And now it's a little bit of a pass here. Konechny shoots! And that one looked like it took a deflection, went up and could not find it. Philadelphia does have it at the blue line, but they can't keep it. Sanheim's going to keep in the neutral zone, dump it back into the Carolina Hurricane zone. And Philadelphia is going to go after it. Konechny's got it. And now Philadelphia is going to recover in the defensive zone, and they chip it out into the Philadelphia zone, but they are right there with it. Philadelphia is going to chip it back into the Carolina zone, and Carolina is going to reset. Keandre Miller has it behind his own net, being shadowed by Trevor Zegras, and he is able to get it to Chatfield. Chatfield with a nice pass, took a deflection, went into the Philadelphia Flyers zone. Drysdale's got it, and he's going to backtrack it to York. York gets it around the boards, and it's going to just trickle outside the Philadelphia Flyers line. And now Slavin's got it in the neutral zone. Tries a stretch feed, could not bump. Someone does get onside. Bump has it in the offensive zone. Tries a little bit of a move. The puck goes on to Anderson, but he was ready for it. Bump couldn't get that extra move in, and he covers up. So there'll be an offensive zone face-off draw here for the Philadelphia Flyers just a couple of minutes into the first period, and was so far a scoreless game between the Hurricanes and the Flyers. So very interesting out there. Once again, they're just showing the Martone replay as he hit. Oh yeah, he did hit the crossbar on that shot. So it was a really good try there from Martone to get the puck just a little bit over Anderson, but he put it a little bit too high, hit the crossbar, and that is why we're still scoreless. So once again, we're in a commercial break, so you're not missing a thing. Once again, we do have two very interesting games tomorrow. One of them I will be streaming myself. After last night's game between the Buffalo and Montreal, which saw Buffalo open the series with a Game 1 win, we will have another Buffalo-Montreal game tomorrow, and I will be streaming that one at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. I hope you guys all tune in for that one. Sabres are my fourth favorite team, but I am Canadian, so Canadians are the only Canadian team left to potentially win a Stanley Cup. So I don't really mind either one of these teams making it to the conference final. I would love to see Buffalo, but I wouldn't mind Montreal either. So it will be very interesting. Once again, I'm going to be streaming that game tomorrow at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And then at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow, I won't be streaming it, but I will be keeping tabs on it. And that is Vegas versus Anaheim Game 3. That's going to be a very interesting one. It's going to shift to Anaheim after the first two games in Vegas. That series is currently split, so the winner of tomorrow's game will be going up to a 2-1 series lead, which will be fantastic for whoever does wind up winning that game. So tomorrow, two games on the clock, as we have a 5 o'clock game between Buffalo and Montreal, a game in which I will be streaming. And at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, we will have the Knights take on the Ducks in Anaheim with a chance to go up 2-1 in that series. So that's going to be very interesting. And on top of that, we do also have a couple games on Saturday. I think at 4 o'clock will be Game 4 between Carolina and Philadelphia. Potentially Carolina Hurricanes' chance to sweep the Flyers if everything goes right tonight. And the later night game will be Game 3 between Colorado and Minnesota. Minnesota trying to get back in that series. Colorado trying to basically sentence Minnesota Wild to elimination. So that'll be very interesting. That will be on Saturday. So very interesting. We're now back here. Shots are 4-2 for Philadelphia. 11.5 left in the first period. Still a scoreless game. And we do have two of the best goaltenders in the entire NHL playoffs here. So I do expect this to be a more low-scoring game. Once again, this is an offensive zone face-off draw here, I think, for Philadelphia. Let's just double-check here. Hold on a minute here, folks. Once again, they're just viewing in on Anderson and Vladar, who have been phenomenal in this series. There's offensive zone face-off draw here for the Flyers. Glendening against Stahl, and Glendening's waved out of the face-off dot, so Couturier now steps in to take it. It is... Sorry, excuse me. That's Couturier against Stahl in the face-off dot, so that's very interesting. And Stahl's going to win the draw. Carolina's got it off the boards, and they send it to the neutral zone. Philadelphia chips it back. Carolina's got it now into the Philadelphia zone, where Ristolainen is going to stop up. He's going to send it around the boards, and he's going to start a play. Here comes Couturier, who gets to the red line, dumps it in. Anderson stops it for one of the Hurricanes players. Philadelphia is able to keep the line and hold possession. Couturier on the boards, trying to get away from Carrier. Can't. Hathaway gets it around the boards, just out of the reach of Jalen Chatfield. Philadelphia's got it. They're going to keep it. Nice play from Sanheim to elevate, but Carolina does now get it and dump it into the neutral zone, where Philadelphia is going to miss it. Stahl's got it. What a play! And he's going to be taken off the puck by Ristolainen. Tried to go for a little bit of a forehand backhand, and he just could not. Carolina does keep it, though, and Stahl can't get it in the neutral zone. Now the Carolina Hurricanes defense does have it. Walker stepping up in the play, gets it across to Robinson. Robinson trying for a feed to Carrier, and can't. Robinson! A couple of good chances, but Vladar stood tall. Philadelphia gets it around the boards, clears it. This one might be icing. Let's see here. No, it says no icing. Miller gets it around the boards. Philadelphia intercepts in the neutral zone. Philadelphia's got it. Chip ahead, and that is Barkey trying to go after it. Can't. Miller's got it. It is intercepted, though, by Philadelphia. Trying to send it to Grundstrom. Can't. And now here comes Carolina in the neutral zone. They just dump it in, and Philadelphia is going to chase after it. Here come the Flyers. Grundstrom dumps it into the offensive zone. Aho's now got it around the boards, and he's going to send it over to Jarvis. Jarvis leaves it for Aho. Maybe a 3-on-2 here. Shot Nikishin, and it just goes wide. Nice try. Philadelphia's got it to the point, and they're going to just keep the line here. Carolina is Sealers hit into the boards. Carolina's got it. Gossesbear. Jarvis stopped by Vladar. Nice stop from Dan Vladar. Gossesbear across. Aho tried to feed it to Svechnikov, but he wasn't open. And now Philadelphia is able to recover possession. And Carolina does keep it after winning the board battle. And here comes Nikishin below the goal line, sends it back to Aho. Aho across to Gossesbear. Gossesbear sends it on goal, shoots, and it's blocked to hit a Flyer in front. And the Flyers are now able to regain possession. Michkov chips it into the neutral zone, and Carolina's going to regain possession in their own zone now. Both teams go for a change, 9-10 left in the first period between the Hurricanes and the Philadelphia Flyers. Carolina chips it in, goes after it. Vladar takes it, loops it around the boards. Konechny's now got it. Konechny trying to send something around, can't. Carolina keeps it. Chatfield shot, and that one was blocked. Now they get the puck back again. Hall to Chatfield, shoots it again, blocked in front. Someone's stick broke. Philadelphia's now got it. It was one of the Flyers' sticks who broke. And now they do get the puck out. Solid move there from Philadelphia. Carolina is able to get possession, though, in the neutral zone, trying to tip it into the Philadelphia Flyers zone. Can't. Konechny's got the puck, but he's muscled off of it. And now here come the Hurricanes. And they are able to get the puck. They keep possession in the neutral zone. They can't get an offensive zone entry, though. Now they do. Here's Jackson Blake. Shoots, and that one goes wide. Philadelphia's now got a bump. Trying to find some sort of passing lane, and he is able to get it to Zegras. Zegras enters the offensive zone, skates after it, tries to go around. I think that was Walker, but couldn't. And now Carolina has possession in the defensive zone. Zegras though with the intercept. Grundstrom has a little bit of space. What a stop from Anderson again. Another nice stop from Freddie Anderson. 8 minutes left. Shots are 6 apiece. No goaltender has buckled as of yet. Philadelphia chips into the neutral zone. Can't get there. Carolina keeps it. They head into the offensive zone. Stahl takes down Sanheim, and now Stahl has the puck. Stahl loops it around, and Carolina is not, there's no defenseman at the point, so the puck goes out, and Carolina just dumps it back into the Philadelphia zone. 7:43 left in the first period. Shots are 6 apiece, and Philly that has it in their own zone. And it's Ristolainen just skating with it for a second here, and he sends it in. Couturier trying to take it off of one of the Hurricanes players, and he does. Couturier trying to set her feet, can't. Slavin gets it, and he clears it down the ice. Philadelphia is able to get there first, but barely. Andrea being chased by Robinson. He's hit by Robinson. The Canes do keep the puck in the offensive zone for a second, and now the puck is chipped off the glass, down the ice, and this should be icing, and it looks like it is. Fighting once again at this center ice dot, as the Hurricanes and Flyers are getting a little bit mixed up here. Once again, offensive zone face-off draw here. For the Hurricanes, scoreless game. Both Anderson and Vladar have been fantastic so far in this game. And once again, they're probably going to be the storylines of this series and will probably continue to be. So it'll be very interesting once again here. Chatfield with a nice shot, stopped by the glove of Vladar. A shot here from in tight on Alex Bump, stopped by Anderson. So a couple of good stops both ways. Both goalies have made 6 shot saves so far. So good stuff there from both keepers. And once again, 7:11 left in the first period. Carolina gets the offensive zone face-off draw. Have a point. Shoots. Blocked away by Vladar. Now Philadelphia's got it. Philadelphia skating away with the puck. They just chip it into the Carolina zone where Chatfield is able to recover. And now here comes Svechnikov. Svechnikov sends it into the offensive zone, and Philadelphia's going after it. And Philadelphia trying to find some sort of passing lane, and they do get it into the neutral zone. Chip it in. Once again, Philadelphia beats out the icing by the looks of things, and Forrester fighting for it. Forrester to the point. Shot, and that was blocked. But when the Hurricanes players goes out of the zone, Philadelphia is able to retain possession. Philadelphia dumps it in. The Flyers are going to try and get something going here. Dvorak's looking for it. A board battle here to the right of Frederik Andersen, and the Canes are able to come away with it, but it looks like there's a penalty on the play here. And let's see who it is. It looks like it might be Travis Konechny. Let's see what the call is here. 6.5 minutes left in the first period, or actually it might be Walker. Hold on here. Let's see what the call is on the play. Let's see here. Once again, it might be Walker. I think he pushed Konechny into the boards. I think that one might be boarding. We're going to commercial break, so you're not missing a thing. 6.5 minutes left in the first period, and the Hurricanes currently lead the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Hurricanes and Flyers are tied at scoreless. So, very interesting note there. Once again, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you think the Carolina Hurricanes will make it to the Stanley Cup final? They started the playoffs 6-0. They swept the Ottawa Senators. They're currently up 2-0 on the Philadelphia Flyers. Is this the year the Carolina Hurricanes go to the Cup? Do they make it out of round 2, which is looking like what they're going to do? Will they get past Philadelphia? And if they do get past Philadelphia, will they be able to get past the winner of Buffalo Montreal? Or do you think that Buffalo Montreal stack up pretty well against Carolina, and with Carolina's recent track records in Eastern Conference Finals, do you think Buffalo or Montreal could actually take down the Carolina Hurricanes in the conference final if that is what it winds up being? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that down in the comment section below. Personally, when I was doing my round 2 predictions, I did predict Carolina to come out of round 2, but I did predict them to lose in, I think it was 6 or 7 games to Buffalo in the conference final. So I do think that they will get to the round 2 and will play. I don't know if it's going to be a sweep or not. I wouldn't be surprised if Philadelphia won a game or 2, but I did think that Carolina was going to make it to the conference final. I just didn't think they were going to make it out of the conference final. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do the Carolina Hurricanes make it out of the round 2, make it to the conference final, and make it past the conference final? Or do they wind up being, once again, eliminating like the conference final or something? Do you think maybe it's a Buffalo or Montreal who goes to the Cup final? Love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below, down in the chat. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. Let's see here. What's the call? Give me a second here, folks. Once again, we just got back from commercial action, so you are not missing a thing. Good evening to you too, Marshall. Philadelphia is going to get the power play. So I think that is Walker who is in the box right now. Yep, it is an interference call on Sean Walker. So the Flyers are going to get the first power play of the game. Once again, shots are currently 7-6 in favor of the Carolina Hurricanes. There's an offensive zone face-off draw for Philadelphia. I think that's Couturier taking it, and Philadelphia is not able to win it. Carolina does. They bounce it off the walls, and they clear the zone. So solid move there from the Carolina Hurricanes. Once again, Philadelphia's got in their own zone. Drysdale sends it, and a little nice pass here to Zegras. Zegras dumps it in, and Chatfield's now got it. Chatfield around the boards, gets it to Barkey, and he's taken off the puck. Carolina maybe a little bit of a stretch feed, trying to get it to Martinook, could not. Philadelphia has reinforcements there, and the Flyers are able to get possession in their own zone. Currently 1 for 7 in the first 2 games of the series with 3 shots on goal. So very interesting to note there. Let's see. Philadelphia has it. Shoots! And that one goes wide. Konechny's got it below the goal line. And Carolina's going to be able to send it down the ice. Actually, that one into the bench. So 1:15 left in the power play for the Philadelphia Flyers. And that is still going to be a Flyers power play. So good stuff there for Philadelphia. Once again, you're not missing a thing. There will be a neutral zone faceoff draw here. 5:41 left in the first period and a minute 15 seconds on the Philadelphia power play. So really good stuff there. Once again, you have not missed very much. Vladar and Anderson, if you guys are just joining us, have both been phenomenal in goal, and it is currently still a scoreless game with 5 minutes left in the first. Offensive zone face-off draw here for Philly. Drysdale has it at the point, gets it to Martone, but Ristolainen can't keep the line, and the puck goes into the neutral zone. Ristolainen's got it in the defensive zone now, trying to set something up. Ristolainen has it, drops it back, and here comes Christian Dvorak. Dvorak coming in, passes it to York. York sends it around the boards, trying to get it to Martone, and he can't. Philadelphia can't hold the line. Ristolainen's got back in the neutral zone. Ristolainen entering the offensive zone, and he gets it to York. Dvorak trying to fight for it, and it goes back out into the neutral zone. Ristolainen's got it. Philadelphia Flyers have it now in the neutral zone, and here comes Philadelphia. York sends it around the boards. 30 seconds left in the Philly power play, and Dvorak's now gets it back to the point. Ristolainen back to York. York has at the point, trying to find some sort of passing lane. He is able to get it, and then York gets it back. York to Ristolainen. Once again, can't hold the line, and the puck goes into the neutral zone. 15 seconds left. It's dumped back into the Carolina zone, and Carolina's going to be able to probably kill off this last few seconds of penalty time. 4.5 left in the first period. And the puck is dumped back. It looks like it took a deflection into the crowds. So I'm not sure if this is going to be a neutral zone faceoff draw or a defensive zone faceoff draw. Let's see here. They're discussing. Once again, they're discussing at center ice some things. Let's see here what the call is. I wonder if this might be a penalty. Let's see here. There's 4 seconds left on the current Philadelphia power play, and there's 4:30 left in the first period. So you're not missing a thing. There was a stoppage in play. Let's see here what exactly the call was. It's going to be a neutral zone faceoff draw, so not a offensive zone faceoff draw for Philly. And Carolina is going to lose the draw, but that's 2-1, and Philadelphia in their own zone can't get anything going. Carolina's cut off the power play. Philadelphia's 1 for 8 in the series. Anderson's got below his goal line, passes it around. Zegras can't get there, but his players can, and the Flyers are able to hold the line. Sanheim passes off the boards to Zegras. Zegras tries to get to the point. He is able to, but I think that was Drysdale who could not hold the line, and they're going to have to reset in the neutral zone. Drysdale sends it back into the Carolina zone, and I think he never got to the red line. So that means that we are going to have 4 minutes left in the first period and a offensive zone faceoff draw for the Carolina Hurricanes. So very interesting to note there. Once again, it's still a scoreless game here. 4:02 left in the first period. So that is very interesting to note there. Carolina leads 2-0 right now in this series, and they're trying to put the Philadelphia Flyers on the ropes entering Saturday's Game 4. So they're going to be trying to win tonight and then win on Saturday to go to back-to-back sweeps and potentially make it to the conference final for the second year in a row. Nikishin's got it to Blake, to Miller, shoots, and that one stopped. Vladar is going to be able to hold on to it and cover it up and get an offensive zone faceoff draw here for Carolina again, but now Philadelphia is going to be able to change. So really good stuff there. Stankoven on the ice right now, mixing things up with Sanheim. So very interesting to note there. Once again, it's a scoreless game in the first period, and we're just about to go to commercial break. So you guys are not missing a thing. So interesting to note there. Once again, Anderson, Vladar have both been fantastic in this game. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, and if you guys think that Philadelphia is going to be able to come back in this series and potentially upset the Carolina Hurricanes, or does Carolina already have this thing in the bag? Do you think Carolina wins all of their games in this series? Do you think they're able to go to back-to-back sweeps to enter the conference final? And if they do make it to the conference final, do you think there's any shot a Buffalo or Montreal could upset them in the conference final, or do you think this is the year that Hurricanes finally go on to the Stanley Cup final? I'd love to get your thoughts down in the chat and comments below. But I did predict in my second round predictions the Hurricanes to make it out of this round in 6 games over the Philadelphia Flyers, but I did predict them to lose in the conference final to Buffalo. So that's still a possibility, and we'll have to wait and see if that's something that winds up happening. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see if the Hurricanes finally are able to exercise their demons, because I think they've been to 4 conference finals before and wind up losing for like 4 straight conference finals, and they wound up losing. That was the series last year against Florida, a couple of years ago against Florida, 2019 against Boston, and 2009 I think it was against Pittsburgh. They lost all 4 of those Eastern Conference finals. And last year was actually their first Eastern Conference final win since they went to the Stanley Cup in 2006. So once again, Carolina over the past couple of years, especially under Rob Brindamore, has not had much success in the Eastern Conference final. But if they are able to get the Eastern Conference final this year, maybe it is able to wind up doing it. Once again, yeah, I do think that if the Flyers don't win tonight, I think if the Canes take the 3-0 series lead, it's basically going to be impossible for the Philadelphia Flyers to win this series. If they're able to win it tonight, maybe there's a chance. A couple of years ago, Carolina did have a 2-0 lead over the New York Rangers. I think it was in 23 or 22 in the second round, and the Carolina Hurricanes wound up losing that series in 7 games. So it's not impossible to say that the Carolina Hurricanes do wind up losing this series, but the Philadelphia Flyers are going to have to turn it up another notch. Yeah, Canes are definitely a tough team to come back against. I think the Ottawa Senators are realizing just how tough Carolina is. I mean, if they're playing a Philadelphia team that actually moved on in round 1, how well they've been playing them. Like, I think at this point in time, in the first 2 games, Ottawa actually played Carolina better than the Philadelphia Flyers did in those first 2 games. And yeah, so it's very interesting out there. Philadelphia loses the defensive zone faceoff draw. They have it along the boards, trying to get away from Carolina players. Stankoven fighting for it. Blake is able to get there. Now Stankoven has it, and Hall's able to add some reinforcements. Gets it back to the point. Nikishin passes across to Gosselspierre. To Blake, tries a feeding cross, and that one's blocked by too many bodies in front. Carolina is hit off the puck. Gosselspierre. And I think that's actually going to be a penalty. It's a tripping call, I think, on one of the Philadelphia Flyers players. And it looks like Carolina is now going to go to the power play. I think Costas was actually tripped up here. Couturier is going to the box. So the Flyers captain will be on the penalty box here for the next 2 minutes. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Gosselspierre got his legs taken out from under him by Sean Couturier. So Couturier is now on the box, tripping penalty, and there's now a 3:25 left in the first period, and a 2-minute power play here for the Hurricanes. Shots are currently 6 apiece now for Carolina and Philadelphia, and there's still no score on the clock. So once again, it was two of the best goaltenders in the postseason, and Vladar and Anderson going at it here. I expect this to probably be a very low-scoring 1-0, 2-1 final. But once again, we shall see. Maybe these teams can turn it up in the second and third periods. Offensive zone face-off draw here for the Hurricanes, and they win it to the point. Shot, and that one goes wide. I think that was Stankoven, or actually Svechnikov with the shot. Now back to the point. Gosselspierre passes it across to, I think that's Aho. Aho trying to find some sort of passing lane. He's got, I think that's Blake in front. Gosselspierre's got it again. Gosselspierre to Aho. Aho hits off the puck by Glendening, but he does keep possession. And now they do get back. Stahl's in front. Gosselspierre to Aho. Aho across to Jarvis, trying to find some sort of passing lane. Can't. Drysdale knocks off his stick. And now there's a board battle behind the net. Stahl does get it. Stahl back across to Svechnikov. Svechnikov to Aho. Aho to the point. Gosselspierre shoots and it's tipped. Svechnikov's got it and it's stopped by Vladar. Once again, they do get it back to the point. Gosselspierre's got it. Gosselspierre to Svechnikov. Shoots! And now it goes wide. Rebound! Stahl scores! Stahl with a little bit of a backhand pass, and he put it past Dan Vladar. Carolina opens the scoring, and the Hurricanes are up 1-0. Carolina with a beauty of a goal. A shot from one of the Hurricanes players went right to Stahl, and Stahl was able to just backhand it ever so slightly past Dan Vladar. We'll look at the replay here. Gosselspierre had at the point. He took a shot. Actually, no, he passed it to Svechnikov, who took a shot, went off the boards, right to Stahl, and Stahl just had a little bit of a backhand, and I think that went 5 holes. Just double check here. Yeah, Svechnikov off the boards. Nope, it just went off of Stahl's. Stahl put it off of Vladar's backside and in, and that one's going to count. The Hurricanes score a power play goal from Jordan Stahl, and that is 1-0 Hurricanes. So let's change this up here. Hold on a minute here, folks. Let's see this going to 1. And the Hurricanes have opened the scoring in the first period. They're up 1-0, and they are looking pretty dang good. So really good stuff there for the Hurricanes. Shots are now 7-6 for Carolina. And the Hurricanes are able to send it back into the Philadelphia Flyers zone, and they're going to be hit off the puck. Philadelphia's got it now, trying to loop it around the boards. Another board battle, but Philadelphia is for a second able to win it, but now it's back along the boards. Trying to get it loose. There's like 6 players in there, and the puck goes around to the other side. Carolina is able to keep it in, loop it back around the boards, and Carolina gets it around to the other side. Marchinuk's there, as is Andrea, and they're trying to fight for it, and Philadelphia's not able to get there. Carolina's going to keep it in, goes below the goal line. Vladar is able to get there, passes it to Sealer. Sealer back to Andrea, and Andrea's just going to try and set some things up below the goal line with 1:53 left. In the first period, Andrea's got feathers of feet to Martone. Martone gets it to Sealer. Or actually, it's Bump. Bump with a shot. I think that went high. And now they're trying to get something cycled here. Bump's got it. Trying to find a pass. And he does. Martone shoots. That one hit someone in front. Another shot from the defense. And they score. Did they score? They're playing on here. I'm not sure if that puck went in. Let's see here. Philadelphia's got it in the neutral zone. Once again, they're still playing on here. I'm not sure if that puck went in. Carolina's now got it. Shoots. Stopped by Vladar. Bump has in his own zone. And Carolina's got in the defensive zone, and they're trying to feather it back into Philly. Can't. Sanheim's got it in the neutral zone to Martone. Enters the offensive zone, loops around the board. Zegras has it to the top to Martone, or actually that's Ristolainen trying to find a shot. Can't. Philadelphia and Carolina tied up, and now here comes Blake into the offensive zone. 57 seconds left in the period. Once again, that Blake Stankoven Hall lines there. Shoots, and that one's stopped by Vladar. Once again, gets back to the front of the net, but there's no Canes in front of the net. Philadelphia's got it. Forrester trying to find some sort of passing lane, and he is able to get the puck. Forrester. There's a late penalty on the Hurricanes. Philadelphia is going to be going to the power play, and Carolina touches to the puck. 35 seconds left. There will be a power play here for Philadelphia. I don't know if that puck was in, but we'll take a replay here. The Flyers fans and players were celebrating, but that puck went on. So let's see here. Bump at it, passed it to Martone. I think I actually hit the crossbar. Let's see here. Oh, what a stop from Jacob Slavin. He took it off the line. What a stop. Slavin is going to keep this game a 1-0 lead for Carolina. That puck was going in. I can see why Philadelphia Flyers players thought that was in. What a stop from Jacob Slavin with his stick. Once again, there's the slashing call on Blake. So that's what the penalty is for. There's 35 seconds left in the first. But my gosh, another elite defensive play on the goal line by Jacob Slavin. I thought that puck might have gone in, and that puck was going in, but if not for the stick of Jacob Slavin. So offensive zone face-off draw here with the power play for Philadelphia. Carolina's going to get it, send it down the ice again. Once again, this is the second power play of the game for the Philadelphia Flyers. Minute 50 seconds left on the power play, 25 seconds left in the first. Philadelphia passes it back, and they're going for a little bit of a skate here. Philadelphia's got it into the offensive zone. Konechny looking for a passing lane, and it looks like there's a penalty here, I think, at the blue line. Let's see here. There's a minute 42 left on the power play, and it looks like Drysdale's incensed. I think he's going to the box, and it looks like he is. So that's going to negate the rest of this power play, and it'll be 4-on-4 to start most likely the second period. So let's just see here what the call is. Drysdale's definitely going to the box. Let's see. Maybe a little bit of an interference or tripping call here on Drysdale. Either way, he is going to the box. So interesting to note there. Shots are 9-7 Carolina right now. They're up 1-0 in the first. The penalty is interference on Drysdale at the blue line. So he interfered a little bit on Stahl. They're going to call that. And it'll be 4-on-4 for a minute 42 seconds. And then after the 4-on-4 ends in the second period, there will be an 18-second power play for the Hurricanes. So very interesting note there. We got 17 seconds left here in the first period. And what is right now a 1-0 Carolina lead thanks to a power play goal from Jordan Stahl. So very interesting to note there. Carolina's got it. Once again, this is 4-on-4 hockey. Aho trying to win it, and he does. Walker's got it. Passes it back to his deep partner across, trying to hit Jarvis. Can't, but Walker does get the puck at the point. Walker to Aho. Aho to Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere tries to get across. There's no play in there. 2-1. Puck goes in front, but there's no Hurricanes, and that is going to do it. So a 1-0 Hurricanes lead after the first period, thanks to a power play goal from Jordan Stahl and some brilliant defensive abilities from Jacob Slavin keeps this game the Carolina Hurricanes having the lead. So that's a very interesting note there. So we are now in intermission. So let me just change this up here, guys. Just give me one quick minute here. Let's see, intermission. Once again, let's change this here. This is now an intermission, so you guys are not missing a thing for the next 18 to 20 minutes. So you guys are not missing a thing there. So that's good. So we'll give you the intermission report, and then we'll talk about a couple of other things I wanted to just discuss with you guys. So we'll start with the intermission report here for the Canes and the Flyers. Let's see here. Okay, so after the first period, it was 1-0 Hurricanes. Thanks to a power play goal from Jordan Stahl, the assist went to Svechnikov and Gostisbehere. That was with 2 minutes and 33 seconds left in the first period. So the Hurricanes are able to score the first and only goal so far of the game. They're outshooting the Philadelphia Flyers 9-7. So that is the shots as of the first period. Face-off percentage goes in Carolina's favor. They've won 8 of 15 face-offs. 53.3%, so the Hurricanes do have the very slight edge on the face-off dot. The Flyers are currently 0 for 2 on the power play. The Canes are 1 for 2 on the power play, and the Canes will have a very short power play after the 4-on-4 ends to start the second period. So that's very interesting to note there. Hits, Philadelphia leads 17-16. Blocked shots, Philadelphia leads 8-3. Giveaways, Philadelphia leads 5-4. And takeaways, Philadelphia leads 2-0. So Philadelphia leading in a ton of shot categories, except for power play percentage, face-off percentage, shots on goal, and the scoreline. So very interesting to note there, but the Hurricanes do lead in most of those categories. So very interesting note there. Once again, just a couple of other things to talk about here. Earlier today, we did see the Norris finalists. which are very interesting. The finalists for the Norris, the top three, of course, candidates for the Norris were Werenski, Dahlin, and Makar. So these were very interesting. Like, I didn't know if Bouchard was going to win the Norris Trophy. I thought there was a possibility he might not win it, but I thought he would at least be a top three finalist. I am shocked that that Bouchard did not get at least enough votes to get him into the top three of Norris voting. Once again, just because he's not a finalist doesn't mean he didn't get Norris votes. It just means that he wasn't a finalist for it. So once again, I expect Bouchard to probably be 4 or 5. I expect Quinn Hughes to probably be 4 or 5. Wouldn't be shocked if Lane Hudson was 4 or 5. Like, I was not expecting Dahlin to be up there, to be quite honest with you guys. Like, I thought Dahlin had a pretty good season. It was probably up higher in the Norris caliber voting, but I wasn't expecting him to be in the Norris finalists. So very interesting note there. Once again, Werenski, where would the Jackets be without Zach Werenski? So I was totally expecting him to be a top three, and probably does wind up winning it. Like, Werenski, if you take Werenski off that Jackets team, like, they're nowhere close to being a playoff team. So I expected Werenski to be in the finalists. Makar, I didn't expect him to be in the finalists, or at least I would expect him to be probably third. So to see him be a finalist again is quite surprising. Apparently, he joins Bobby Orr as the only defenseman to have been nominated for the Norris Trophy in 6 of their first 7 seasons. So that is very interesting to note there. Once again, I wasn't expecting Makar to win it, but I could have seen him be a top 3 finalist either way, but I don't expect him to win it. The fact that Dahlin's in there is very interesting. Like, I think at this point it'd probably be Werenski, Makar, Dahlin, and then one of Bouchard, Hughes, or Hudson being 4 and 5. So it'd be very interesting to see that. But it was very interesting to see the Norris finalists be announced today, and Bouchard, who led the league in defensemen in points with 95, very close to 100. I know he's got McDavid. I know he's got Bouchard. I mean, I know he's got Draisaitl. And I know he's on one of the better teams in the NHL. And on top of that, I know that he does have some really bad defensive gas. But I definitely do think he probably should have been at least a little bit higher. So, very interesting note there. Once again, I'm an Oilers hater, so I don't really like any of the Oilers players. But I definitely thought after their season he had, Bouchard probably deserved to be amongst the finalists. So, very interesting note there. But the finalists for the Norris Trophy are Werenski, are Dahlin, and are Makar. So one of those three will win the Norris Trophy for the best defenseman in the NHL for this past year. There was another trophy that was announced last night. Just let me go and double check on this. Just give me a second here, folks. I think it was the Selke that was announced last night. Let's just check here. Hold on a minute here, folks. I just want to see who the finalists were. I can't remember off the top of my head. Here, yeah. So the Selke Trophy finalists were announced last night, and that is going to be one of Anthony Cirelli, Brock Nelson, or Nick Suzuki. So Suzuki's not surprising. Neither is Cirelli to some extent. I'm a little bit shocked that Nelson wound up finishing in the top 3 in the voting category. I thought there would probably be a couple of other guys who might finish ahead of him, but with no Barkov this year due to injuries, I am not shocked that these are the 3 guys who wind up finishing for the Selke, but still very interesting note there. So those are all the finalists for the Selke and for the Norris. I think the next one that's coming out is tomorrow, and that might be the Hart. If I am correct, it'll be interesting to see if Celebrini wound up finishing top 3 in finalists, or if it is Kucherov, McDavid, McKinnon. So it'll be very interesting to see there. On top of that, I'd love to get your thoughts down in the chat on what you think about the draft lottery. I did a live stream about that a couple days ago. I'm sure you guys saw it. You probably also saw my short. But the Toronto Maple Leafs, stunningly, despite the odds against them, were not only able to not only drop back and give their pick to Boston, but they jumped up and now have the first overall pick. So very interesting note there that the Leafs are going to have the first overall pick in June's draft after their first bad season and almost 9 years since they drafted Matthews. They're now going to have a chance to draft McKenna. So once again, there's been a lot of talk about Matthews because his comments about him not committing to the team and not being sure if he was going to commit to another season with the Maple Leafs, or he might try and ask for a trade out, depending on how the roster is constructed. So that's very interesting. There's been some talk about maybe moving Matthews and trying to really tank and really retool now they have McKenna, potentially as the first overall pick. Or maybe there's some possibility there that they try and add McKenna to a team that already has Matthews and just try and go back for another playoff run next year. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. And then the San Jose Sharks jumped up from the ninth spot to the second spot overall and have a chance to take another really lethal player. I know there's some speculation about will they go defenseman or will they go Stenberg. I personally do think they'll go Stenberg because I do think they'll go best player available, and they'll maybe try and package the 20th overall pick with one of those other good young forwards that they have, whether that's like a Will Eklund or a Igor Chernyshov. Maybe try and package those two things up for like some sort of an established young NHL defenseman that we're probably not on our radar right now. So I definitely do think that's the probable thing that's going to happen here between the Hurricanes, or between the Sharks and the Leafs after getting the first two picks in this upcoming NHL entry draft in June. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens there. I do believe that once again, I feel bad for Canucks fans, especially once again, they've had such bad luck in the draft lottery. I think it was like in 2016 and 2017, they had really good odds. And both times they wound up moving down like two or three spots. And then this year they had really good odds. Once again, they only moved down to third overall, which isn't terrible. Like if the Sharks do end up going defenseman, they'll have a chance to take Stenberg. If they do end up not having a chance to take Stenberg, then they'll have either a really good defenseman or a guy like Caleb Malholtra, who a lot of people have been talking about Vancouver getting. So there's a couple of different varieties of possibilities here for the Vancouver Canucks as third overall. But man, I was really hoping the Canucks were going to be able to get there. Or the Calgary Flames, who have never drafted first overall either, and they had a shot at getting first overall. Now they're going to fall outside the top five. So once again, I do think they'll get like a pretty solid player, probably a defenseman, with how things it seems like are going. But I definitely do think that they're not going to get a bad player here, but just falling from 4 to 6, not overly good there for the Flames. So very interesting note there, but it was a very interesting day on Tuesday to see the draft lottery wind up finishing up. And the Leafs, of all people, wound up winning that draft lottery spot with the Sharks getting second overall. Love to hear your thoughts down below. Are you surprised the Leafs won the lottery? Are you surprised the Sharks now have second? Are you upset for the Canucks fans that the Canucks are now not going to be able to pick in the first two picks again for the Vancouver Canucks? So I would love to hear your thoughts on your reactions to the draft lottery and what do you think that could happen in the June draft. It's going to be a very interesting draft this year. Like we said, the free agent class this year isn't overly great, so there's probably going to be a lot more trades than we have seen in the past years to make up for the fact that there isn't a ton of really lethal free agents. So we shall wait and see what happens there. But a very interesting note there that the Leafs now have the first overall pick. And my gosh, that Atlantic Division next year, oh boy, that's going to be one heck of a Atlantic division to keep track of. You've got the reigning back-to-back Cup champs in the last 2 years in Florida, who missed the playoffs this year. You've got the Leafs, who now have the first overall pick, potentially could take Gavin McKenna, really revamp that team. You've got Ottawa, who made the playoffs this year. If they make a couple of big moves, they could be right back in it next year. You've got, who else was it? Boston, who had a really surprisingly good year, hit triple digits. You had the Tampa Bay Lightning, who wound up making the playoffs again, but this year they wound up being eliminated for the fourth consecutive season. You have Montreal and Buffalo, who are currently in the Atlantic Final, who are trying to go to the Eastern Conference Final. And you've got Detroit, who had a really solid first half of the season and collapsed in the second half of the season. So you've got 8 teams who could legitimately compete for a playoff spot in that Atlantic Division for next year. I think Toronto's a good bounce-back opportunity. Florida's a good bounce-back opportunity. Not sure what Detroit or Ottawa are going to look like next year. I expect Montreal and Buffalo to be back in it. Once again, Tampa, I could potentially see him have a little bit of regression, maybe potentially miss the playoffs. I think Boston's a prime opportunity for a team who will wind up having some regression next year. So I definitely do think Boston could potentially fall out. Tampa could potentially fall out. Don't know what Detroit or Ottawa are going to look like. I think Toronto and Florida are really good bounce back opportunities. But man, that Atlantic Division next year, depending on what happens, is probably going to be a bloodbath. So that's going to be very interesting. But with the Leafs now in the first overall pick, Florida getting healthier, that division is just going to look absolutely insane next year. So it will be very interesting. At this point, once again, we don't know what's happening in the offseason, but at this point, I'd probably say like Buffalo, Montreal are probably going to be the top 2 teams in the Atlantic next year. I think Florida or Toronto or Ottawa could fight for that 3, 4, 5 spot. Wouldn't be surprised if Tampa or Detroit are also fighting for that 3, 4, 5 spot. I'd probably put them a little bit lower. And once again, like I said, I expect Boston to have a little bit of regression next year. Similar to what Calgary did this year to last year, where they almost made playoffs last year. They didn't really do much in the offseason. If anything, they got a little bit worse, and then they had a big regression step this year. I am expecting similar things from Boston. But once again, that Atlanta division is going to be quite brutal next year. So very interesting note there. Once again, if you guys are just tuning in, the Carolina Hurricanes opened the scoring late in the first period thanks to a power play goal from Jordan Stahl, and that is where we sit right now. Hurricanes lead 1-0 at the intermission. So very interesting to note there. Once again, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts down below. What do you think the other series are going to be? If you guys do think the Hurricanes are in a pretty good position to win this series, what do you think the other series will wind up finishing? Do you think the Avalanche win now up 2-0, or do you think the Wild are able to come back? Do you think the Ducks or the Knights are able to win their series, as that one's now 1-1 after what happened last night? Sabres won the first game last night 1-0. We're streaming game 2 tomorrow at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Who wins that series? Is it going to be Buffalo or is it going to be Montreal? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the chat below, down in the comments. Who you have right now when going to this conference finals after the first few games of action here in the postseason. And once again, just going over to Buffalo Montreal from last night. Game 1 was last night. It was a 4-2 Buffalo win. Some really good stuff here from Buffalo. For the Montreal Canadiens, it was not overly great. Dobesh did not play as good as he did in that series against Tampa. But Buffalo seems to be a whole different beast. Buffalo also gave Montreal problems in the regular season. And we're going to be streaming Game 2 tomorrow at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Some very interesting stats that came out of that game was that Bowen Byram has tied the Sabres record for most goals in a playoff run by a defenseman. He has 4. I think there was like 3 or 4 other Sabres who also had 4 goals in a playoff run. But if Byram gets one more goal, he's going to break the all-time Buffalo Sabres most goals by a defenseman in a playoff run record. So that's insane. And I think they're definitely winning that trade after you look back at it, the Byram for Middlestat trade. It's been working wonders for the Buffalo Sabres. And then for the Sabres as well, Alex Lyon, since coming in for Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen after the first 2 games, started games 3, 4, 5, and 6 in that first round series, and then also started games 1 in last night's game, has only allowed, hold on a minute here, guys, has only allowed, let's see here, 7 goals in 5 games. So very interesting to note there. And once again, I do think that he has been phenomenal for the Buffalo Sabres. So yeah, very interesting to note there. Once again, we are still in intermission. We're about to start the second period, I think, so you are not missing a thing. Once again, very interesting game so far. I did expect it to be a little bit more of a lower scoring game, so this isn't surprising in my opinion. Let's just change it here while we are in commercial right now to the second period, because that should be getting underway in the very near future. So let's see, second period, so that seems to be good. Okay, this is going to go to the middle here, so that's good. Once again, if you guys are just tuning in, I do also have a couple of games planned for next week. Monday, I'm planning on doing Game 4 between Colorado and Minnesota. That will be the only game that will not be streaming after I do Buffalo Montreal tomorrow, so I want to do one for that Avalanche Wild series. So I'm probably going to do Game 4 on Monday, and then Game 4 of Montreal-Buffalo I'm going to try and do on Tuesday in Montreal. So those are going to be probably the first 2 games to do next week, and then of course the ones later on in the week will really be depending on how long those series go, because there's like only one possibility for Friday. There's a couple of possibilities for Thursday, but that's only if the series go that long. So it will depend on all of that stuff. But we will try and do a couple of ones potentially later on next week as well. So I hope you guys all tune in for those ones. But once again, we are doing Carolina, Philadelphia right now. And then tomorrow at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, we will be doing Buffalo, Montreal Game 2. So I hope you guys all tune in for those ones. Once again, you're not missing anything. We are currently in intermission. We're just about to get underway for the start of the second period. So I hope you guys all are liking the video and subscribing, commenting. Left your guys' opinion down in the chat below. Once again, what do you guys think of Toronto and San Jose winning the draft lottery? Are you surprised? Are you upset? Love to hear your thoughts down in the chat below. And who do you think wins this game? Can Philadelphia come back, or is this going to be Carolina's game to lose again? So we shall wait and see on that. I think the last time a team started the season playoffs 7-0 was the Rangers back a couple of years back when they won the President's Trophy, when they started the season 7-0 against, once again, Carolina. And then the Carolina Hurricanes won game 5-6. The Rangers won game 7, or game 6. The Canes won game 4 and 5, and the Rangers won game 6 to take that series in 6 games. But I think that was the last time a team wound up starting 7-0. So it could be tonight that Carolina winds up starting 7-0, which will be very, very interesting. And once again, it seems like every year, one of the second round series that start 2-0 wind up having the team who start up 2-0 wind up losing the series. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. But once again, you are not missing a thing. Carolina and Philadelphia are currently in intermission. So really good stuff there. It looks like we're just about to get back underway here for the start of the second period. Once again, they're just showing Porter Martone here has had a couple of really good hits, some really good opportunities, but has yet to put one past Freddie Anderson. So very interesting to note there. Once again, Martone thought that puck was in. So really good stuff. Martone was having himself one heck of a playoffs as a rookie who just played a couple of weeks in the NHL. So he has been fantastic for the Philadelphia Flyers. Once again, they're just showing some of Martone's stuff. So not too surprising there. Once again, if the Philadelphia Flyers are going to have any shot, they're going to have to get some offense going because right now Anderson's been a brick wall and that defense has been suffocating as the Philadelphia Flyers defense was for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So it'll be very, very interesting to see if the Flyers are going to be able to get some sort of offense going in this series. Once again, Martone and Couturier are talking on the bench. Remember, there is, I think, around a minute and a half of 4-on-4 time to begin the second period, and then they'll turn to an 18-second power play for Carolina. So we are just about to get underway here for the second period. So let's get things going here. Once again, they're just setting up for the face-off here. So once again, we're just getting back for the second period. Let's see here. Aho and Barkey in the face-off dots. Tippett and Miller are at the points. And Barkey is able to win the face-off draw back to Forrester. And Forrester gets it back to York. Or actually, it might be Drysdale. Drysdale sends it up to Forrester. And Forrester sends it in his own zone. Skating around with it. Forrester's got it. Here's Tyson Forrester. Passes it across. Nice pass. Trying to get it in, and they do. Here come the Flyers. Trying to get a pass across, and Forrester can't do it. A minute left on the 4-on-4, 30 seconds into the second period. Philadelphia's gone their own zone. Here's Drysdale. Drysdale across to Barkey. Barkey looking for a passing lane, can't, but he's got some space. Barkey into the offensive zone, shoots, and that puck went wide because of too many bodies in front for Carolina. Svechnikov's got it, looking for a passing lane, and Svechnikov is going to get it to, I think that's Ehlers. Ehlers has it, drops it back for one of the Hurricanes defenders, and here comes Carolina. Miller gets it to Svechnikov in the neutral zone. Svechnikov trying to get around Zegras, and he can. Here comes Svechnikov looking for a passing lane. He just trying to get there in front, but he can't. 24 seconds left on the 4-on-4. It might be a 3-on-2 break here for Philadelphia. Zegras to Konechny, to Martone, and Konechny's going to get it around, and it's intercepted by Carolina. A little bit of a break here maybe for the Hurricanes. Ehlers got it. Gosselberg coming in. Ehlers shoots, and that one I think went up and over the glass. Nice try from Nikolai Ehlers. 7 seconds left in the 4-on-4, and 18:42 left in the second period. Still 1-0 Flyers. So once again, they're just showing the breakout here from the Philadelphia Flyers and the Hurricanes. Ehlers had Gosselberg going straight to the net. Sahan took away the pass. Oh, it went off of the crossbar, it looks like. I think that's what happened. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like it went off the crossbar and up and out of play. So a nice try there from Ehlers, who did have a goal and assist in Game 2, but he was not able to put the puck home. So Carolina offense no face-off draw here. 7 seconds left. Philadelphia does win the draw. York gets it around the boards, and it does go out of the zone. 2-1, 4-4 is done. 18-second power play here for the Hurricanes. They have it in the defensive zone, turn it over. Glendening's got it. He's going to chip it ahead. Now there's a board battle, and it looks like the puck actually went out of play. So 9 seconds left on the power play here for the Hurricanes, and once again, we'll have a neutral zone face-off draw, I think, here for the Hurricanes and the Flyers. So good stuff there for the Flyers as they kill off a couple of seconds of that power play. Only 9 seconds left here for Carolina. So let's see here, 9 seconds left. Neutral zone face-off draw here, power play for Carolina. And in 9 seconds, they'll go back to 5-on-5. So Couturier out there against, I think that was Stankoven, and Couturier was able to win it. Sanheim's got with 5 seconds left on the power play, dumps into the Hurricane zone, and that's going to do it. So Hurricanes with another opportunity in that power play, and with 18:15 left in the second, it's 5-on-5. Carolina does have the puck though, and they dump it into the Philadelphia zone. Vladar gets it, leaves it for one of his defensemen. Hall tries to get it around, can't, and Drysdale is going to send it into the neutral zone. However, Blake takes it back. Blake to Chatfield, Chatfield to Gossespierre. Gossespierre dumps it in, and it's intercepted by Philadelphia. Maybe a little bit of a break here, but it's taken away back by Slavin, I think that is. Blake's now got it. Blake tries to center feed to Hall, can't. Puck goes along the boards. Philadelphia is able to get there, and turning away from a couple of other guys is Martone, who gets to Zegras in the neutral zone. Zegras is going to leave it for Martone, enters the offensive zone. Here comes Porter Martone moving around. There's a delay penalty call on the Hurricanes, so it's currently a 6-on-5 attack. Shot! Zegras! And he scores! Zegras! Tie game on the delayed penalty call. That one they needed. They get a puck past Freddie Anderson, and it is Trevor Zegras who puts it home. Philadelphia the game up at 1 apiece. What a massive goal that the Philadelphia Flyers needed, and Philly is bumping. What a shot there from Philadelphia. Once again, Zegras got it to Martone. Martone got across to one of the defenders. They got back up to Martone, who shot it. It hit off of Andrea, went right to Zegras, and he had a little bit of a split second with Anderson going cross crease trying to stop that one. Had a little bit of space up high, and he put it right where he needed it to. What a shot. What a goal. And that is going to be a huge one. Zegras ties this game up at 1 apiece. So very interesting note there. Let's change this thing up here. And this is going to be 1-1 game here, folks. Zegras is on the board. So that's a huge goal there from the Flyers and for Zegras. So I don't think had a goal in this series so far because Couturier and Drysdale scored last game. So yeah, a huge first goal there for Zegras. And once again, the puck is now back in the Philadelphia zone. Philadelphia's got it. They're going to send it off the boards. And here come the Flyers, and they're going to be taken away by Martinook. Carolina's got it now to Ehlers. Ehlers to the middle to Stankoven, and Stankoven dumps it in. Stahl goes after it, and Stahl's going to send it around the boards. Stahl can't find it. Now Sealer does, gets it to Drysdale. Drysdale looks like he was being held by Stahl. I don't know if there's a call. Here come the Philadelphia Flyers. They dump it in. Hathaway chasing after it, and Carolina's going to get it around the boards. Carolina gets it into the Philadelphia zone. Vladar stops it. Andrea's got it. Backhands it to Ristolainen. And Ristolainen tries to set something up. Gets into the neutral zone. Nice play there. Forrester heads after the puck. Forrester and Slavin fighting for it below the goal line. And Carolina's able to get there. Intercepted by Konechny. Konechny looking for some sort of passing lane. He's going to be taken down for a second. And he loses control of the puck. Konechny does get it back to the point, though. And Philly can't hold the line. Andrea has to go back into the neutral zone. Now here come the Flyers. Philadelphia's got it. Forrester into the offensive zone. Forrester looking for a passing lane. Gets it to the point, and that's going to be too far out of his reach. And Philadelphia has now got it. Let's just wait a second here, folks. Let's see here. Carolina is going to put it on goal to Vladar. Vladar is going to stop it with no pressure, really, and Philadelphia's got the puck back. Trying to get it to Konechny. It was a little bit too far out of his reach, but no icing on the plate. Shaffield's got it now to Walker. Or Carey, actually. Carey's got it. Hit off the puck by Grundstrom. He took out one of the Flyers players. And let's see here. I think there might be a... Is that a penalty call or is that just a stoppage? Let's see here, folks. Just give us 1 second to see what the stoppage was for. And Jankowski looks like might be heading to the penalty box here. So let's see here, folks. Or maybe that's not. They're going to be just talking to a couple of the people. So let's see here. Carey definitely did fall down. Let's see here what the call is, or if this is just a stoppage. I think this might actually just be a stoppage. I think there's a neutral zone face-off draw here that might have actually been offside. So, interesting note there. Once again, hits are 20-17 now in favor of the Philadelphia Flyers. So you guys are not missing a thing. Philadelphia enters wins the face-off draw, has in the defensive zone. Drysdale below the goal line. Trying to set something up. Drysdale sends it into the neutral zone. Hall falls down. Maybe a little break here from Martone. Martone trying to get on Ray. He cannot. He's taken down, but there's no penalty on the play. I think he might have just lost the edge. Nick Ishin's got it in his own zone. Dumps into the neutral zone. And Philadelphia's going to be able to touch it up, but I think that's a hand pass. And that means that there's going to be another neutral zone face-off draw here between Philadelphia and Carolina. Once again, 10 to 8 shots on goal for the Hurricanes. Another nice try here from Martone. It definitely looked like he was a little bit hooked by Shane Gostisbehere. Let's see here. And, or maybe not Gostisbehere. It was actually just a nice play from Blake. He was able to lift up his stick. There was no need for a penalty call there. So, smart play there from the rest. Martone already has the assist on that first goal from the Philadelphia Flyers tonight. And really good stuff there from Martone trying to get a breakaway goal there, but just could not get the shot away. So now there is a offensive zone face-off draw here for the Hurricanes, and the Hurricanes are not able to win it. Sanheim's got in the corner, fighting with a couple of Hurricanes players, and Glendening, all trying to fight for that puck. Couturier and Aho join the fray, and Aho is able to get there. Aho gets it to Miller at the point. Miller sends one on net, is not able to. Sanheim's got it now. Sanheim can't, and now the Hurricanes do get it back, and they send it into the neutral zone. Carolina's got it back again. Hurricanes are able to have it, but Philadelphia rips it off their stick. Fighting for it in the neutral zone. Philadelphia gets it back into their defensive zone. Nice try for a backhand pass, but Svechnikov can't get there, and Philadelphia is able to get it. Philadelphia, nice pass from connecting off the boards, but it goes into the neutral zone. Carolina recovers. Svechnikov has it at the red line, passes it back to nobody, and Philadelphia is able to get possession in the neutral zone. Here come the Flyers. Philadelphia is just going to backhand it in. I think that was Couturier. Philadelphia is able to keep possession for a second, though. Carolina gets it along the boards. And here comes Carolina, maybe with a couple of numbers. Jarvis gets it, hit along the boards. And Philadelphia's got it, passes it back. And now here come the Flyers with a little bit of a chip. And here comes Philadelphia. Michkov to, I think that's Dvorak, or actually it's Barkey, but Barkey can't get around Blake. Blake is able to take off the puck, and they pass it across. Chatfield to Hall. Hall brings it into the offensive zone. Hall drops it for Stankoven. Stankoven tries to get to Blake, can't, but Blake does a really good job of batting that puck down. Trying to fight for it along the boards. Sends it deep again. Carolina going after it, as is Philadelphia. Philadelphia gets there first. Hits off the boards. Might be a little break here for Philadelphia. However, Philadelphia is turned back by Carolina, and they just dump it into the Carolina zone. Anderson back to get it, and he's going to get it to one of his defenders. Now Slavin has it. Slavin tries to get to the neutral zone, is able to, and maybe a little break here for Carolina. Stankoven, I think, shoots, and that one goes up and out of play. I think that was a nice stop there from Dan Vladar. Sanheim is currently on top of Logan Stankoven as they are huddled up in the boards. Once again, Zegras with the goal. We go to a commercial break, 13:30 left in the second period, so you're not missing a thing. So really good goal there on the late penalty call from Trevor Zegras, and something that the Hurt Flyers much need at this point in time. They got. It was a goal, so a huge goal there from Trevor Zegras as they are able to pull level, and once again, we're nearing the halfway point of this game between the Flyers and the Hurricanes. So very interesting to note there. It's been great so far between these two teams for the Flyers and the Hurricanes. So, yeah, really good stuff there so far from Carolina and Philadelphia. Once again, Carolina is trying to put the stranglehold 3-0 series lead on the Philadelphia Flyers after tonight, entering Game 4. We'll be looking to potentially try and do double sweeps in the first and second round to reach the conference final for the Flyers. They're looking for their first win of this series and to at least make it a series, trying to get their first win on home ice in this series and the first game on home ice for the Philadelphia Flyers. So it'll be very interesting to see if the Flyers are able to come away with it or if the Carolina Hurricanes are able to put the Philadelphia Flyers on the ropes entering Saturday. Once again, I did pick Carolina to win this series, but I expected in 6 games. I expected Vladar to win the Flyers a game or two, so I wouldn't be surprised that the Flyers won today, but I did pick Carolina for a reason. They are a behemoth of a team, and like I said in the regular season, I expected this team to be the best team in the Metro Division. They're right now proving it. So really good stuff there from Carolina, but it'll be very interesting to see if they're able to get that go-ahead goal or if Philadelphia is able to wind up getting at least one win on the board tonight. So we shall wait and see on that. It looks like we are back here once again. They're just looking at Zegras' goal, which was a beautiful goal after the late penalty call. Anderson tried to to slide cross crease. He was not able to. Zegras put high as Anderson was sliding. That was a huge huge goal for Trevor Zegras and the Philadelphia Flyers. Once again, Rick Tocchet knows what he needs to do in this sort of situation because his team was playing the Edmonton Oilers as the Vancouver Canucks. Remember, he was the coach of the Canucks a couple of years back, and he was playing in round 2 against the Edmonton Oilers, and that is another team that is very difficult to scheme against. So pockets, knows what it takes to potentially try and get out of round 1 or out of round 2 and try and get to the conference finals. So we shall see how that happens. Carolina's got offensive zone face-off draw here. Jankowski loses the draw. Andrea has it below the goal line, and he just chips it into the neutral zone. Philadelphia is able to intercept. Goss's Bears got it, and he's trying to pass it. Once again, can't. Philadelphia is able to intercept, and Carolina now does have it. Once again, they're just playing pass in the neutral zone. Here comes Dvorak. A little bit of space shot, but that was blocked by Goss's Bear. Looks like it stung him a little bit. Slow to get up. Dvorak now has it again. Shoots. That one's stopped by Anderson. Carrier's got it now. It clears it into the neutral zone, and Philadelphia is able to get the puck back in the neutral zone. Forrester's got it. Forrester into the offensive zone, chips it on the boards, chases after it. Carolina sends it around the boards, and it's not kept. Ristolainen keeps it in, but it's a shot that stops. Nikishin goes after Forrester. Philadelphia keeping the play alive. Konechny can't keep it, and Carolina is able to clear it back into the neutral zone. Ristolainen's got it in his own zone. As Blake Robinson tries to chase after him, can't. Philadelphia's now got it. Enters the offensive zone. Here's Zegras again, who scored the lone goal for Philadelphia. He falls down, and Carolina's able to pick it off of him. Maybe a 3-on-2 here for Carolina. Here's Martinuk. Tries to shelter the puck off of Sanheim. Can't. Ristolainen gets it around the boards, but it's picked off by the Hurricanes. Gets to the point. Shoots! And that one will stop. Philadelphia does have the puck back, and Zegras gets it. Passes it across to, I think that might be Martone, streaking in, or actually Bump. But Bump, oh, he took out Anderson. Anderson gets back up in his crease. Intercepted Martone. Trying to get past. Shoots! Waits! Shoots! Oh, what a stop from Anderson just as he was getting back up. A nice try from Martone to get it to, I think that was Bump, and he just could not put it past Anderson. Philadelphia's got in their own zone. They send it into the neutral zone where Carolina is able to intercept it and send it back into the Philadelphia zone. Philadelphia's got it, banks it off the board, sends it into the Carolina zone, and Carolina is going to go after it. Trying to keep it away from Philadelphia, can't. Back to the point, Philadelphia's got it. Drysdale, backhands one feed, can't. Couturier can't keep it in, and now here comes Carolina. Might be a little break here. Svechnikov in, shoots, and that one's blocked right away by Vladar. Nice stop. Svechnikov, puck in front, and Philadelphia is able to come away with it in front of the net, but it looks like there might be a penalty here. So let's see here. There was a stoppage in play. Might be an offside call. Let's see what's the problem here. I think Couturier is actually going to the penalty box. Let's see here. Once again, it looks like there's about to be a power play for one of these teams. Let's see. Once again, they're just showing the... I think this is the penalty. Let's see here. Once again, they're just showing the breakout from Zegras and Bump. Bump tried to go around. I think that was Ehlers, and he just ran right into Freddie Anderson. But once again, that puck actually stayed in the offensive zone. Or, yeah, I think it was the puck stayed in the offensive zone after Bump took out Anderson's legs. And, yeah, there's a slashing penalty on Drysdale. So Philadelphia is going to the box, and Carolina's going back to the power play, where they do have the one goal on the night. Remember, they did score an earlier power play goal from Jordan Stahl. So they're going to try for another one. Once again, Bump had a really great opportunity to put one past Anderson, and he just could not. So really good stuff there. And once again, offensive zone face-off draw here for the Canes. They're able to get there. Goss's Bear shot, and that one goes wide. And the Flyers are able to get the puck. Couturier takes it. Backhand feed. And this might be a little bit of a 2-on-1 here for Philadelphia if they can hurry. Glendening across. Sanheim's taken down. He can't get the shot away. Sanheim fighting for the puck, trying to keep that puck in the offensive zone. He does for a second. Glendening goes after it, and he can't hold the line. Sanheim gets it, though. They do gain possession, and now the Flyers have possession in their own zone, just trying to play keep away. Tries to get the puck into the Carolina zone, can't. Philadelphia can't get the puck out. Svechnikov has it. Svechnikov back to, I think that's Aho, back to Svechnikov, back to the point to Goss's Bear. Goss's Bear is Svechnikov. Svechnikov across, and it's just a little bit too far, and the Hurricanes have to go after Ehlers could not hold the line. Svechnikov's now got it again to Goss's Bear. Goss's Bear, once again, Jarvis Aho trying to set some things up here. Goss's Bear has the puck in the neutral zone. Sends it back to Ehlers. Ehlers sending it in. Ehlers coming in, backtracks it to Goss's Bear. Goss's Bear to, I think that's Jarvis. Jarvis finding some sort of, or Aho. Aho finding some space, gets it back to Goss's Bear. Goss's Bear to Ehlers. Ehlers walks in, shoots, and that one stopped. Another loose puck, and Svechnikov puts it wide. Philadelphia trying to get there. They can't. Ehlers has it, gets it to the point to Goss's Bear. Goss's Bear to Ehlers. Ehlers tries to get to Aho, and he does. Aho along the far side wall. Gets it back to the point to Gossesbear, who loses the puck, and the puck trickles out of the zone. He just could not hold on to that puck. 24 seconds left in the power play. Carolina gets it back at Stankoven, but they're offside. With 21 seconds left, there'll be a neutral zone face-off draw here between the Hurricanes and the Philadelphia Flyers. Once again, 9:41 left in the second period, so we're officially past the halfway point of the game, so long as this game doesn't go to overtime. So very interesting to note there. Once again, Game 2 did go to overtime in this series, as the Hall was able to get the overtime winner for the Hurricanes. So very interesting to note there. Once again, they're just zooming in on Gossesbear, who was just not able to keep that puck in the offensive zone with the power play and with some really good puck movement. Once again, face-off just outside the Flyers' blue line. Couturier waved out of the face-off dot. Now it's Glendening. And Glendening against Stankoven. Glendening is able to win it. Couturier's got the puck, but he's taken off of it. 3-on-1 here, maybe. Hall's got it. Shoot! Stopped by Vladar. Puck took a funny bounce, but it was a nice job by Philadelphia to recover. They send it down. There's 10 seconds left. Maybe enough time for one more rush here for the Flyers. Keandre Miller into the offensive zone. Sends it to Hall. Taylor Hall's got it. And he just dumps it in. Flyers gain possession back for a second. Power play is over. Hall's got it around the boards, sends it, and the Canes are able to keep possession. Blake hit off the puck. Hall's got it. Hall below the goal line, taken off. Stankoven to Blake. That's intercepted by, I think that was Barkey. And Barkey's able to send it along the boards. Another board battle, just under 9 minutes to go in the second period. Oh, what a hit. I think that was Sean Walker and one of the Philadelphia Flyers players. Miller's got along the boards, circles his net, and he's just going to wait behind the net to try and set something up. Martone shadowing him in front of the goal, and Carolina is able to get some things going. Here comes Jordan Stahl. He's got, I think, Ehlers, stroke carry that was streaking in, but he can't get the shot on goal. Martinico on the boards to the point, and Carolina's trying to keep this puck in the offensive zone. Andrea's got it, sends it into the neutral zone, and Carolina is able to trying to get back in, and they do. Andrea along the boards loses it. Carolina keeps it in. Here come the Hurricanes trying to feather stretch feed, trying to get something in front. Can't. Now Philadelphia's got in the neutral zone. Konechny sends it in. Barkey has it, trying to go after Slavin for the puck, and Slavin is able to get a goal on the boards to Jarvis. Jarvis now has it. Now Aho entering the offensive zone with Svechnikov. Svechnikov across to Jarvis. Jarvis shoots one, it trickles, and Vladar just lunges for it. He's going to take the whistle. A huge lunge from Dan Vladar to keep this game scoreless. I don't think that puck was going in, but Vladar was not taking any sort of chances. Once again, they're just showing the replay here of Hall's shot on goal on Vladar. A nice save from, once again, Dan Vladar. The puck went behind the net, and we are going to commercial break. So once again, you guys are not missing a thing. Commercial break, 1-1 game. Power play goal in the first from Carolina, thanks to Jordan Stahl. Delayed penalty, second period goal from Trevor Zegras, and that is why we are currently at a 1-1 scoreline. So very interesting to note there. Once again, I do appreciate you guys all for tuning in. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the draft lottery down below. Are you guys surprised that Toronto and San Jose won the draft lottery spots? Do you guys feel bad for Canucks fans? Would love your guys' opinion down in the comment section below. And who do you think goes top 3 in that draft? Who do you think goes to Toronto? Who do you think goes to San Jose? And who do you think goes to Vancouver? Because I know there's been a lot of debate about that ever since the draft lottery happened. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the chat below. But once again, very interesting game so far. I do think this is going to be a very interesting finish. Once again, with these defensive teams, I could see this game go either way. I do think it'll be sort of like a 2-1, maybe a 3-2 scoreline, but I do think with the way that these two teams play defensively, it's going to be very, very interesting. So hold on here, folks. So it'll be very interesting to see who ends up winning this one. So it'll be very, very interesting. Once again, I do appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. I do appreciate that. Once again, it'll be very, very interesting to see if the Hurricanes come away and take that 3-0 stranglehold series lead into Saturday, or if the Flyers are able to win and make this a series, potentially able to tie the series up on Saturday. So it'll be very interesting to see which one winds up happening. Once again, I do appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. We're just getting back here from commercial break. So once again, you are not missing a thing. We're just about to have a face-off here So once again, McKinnon to Leafs, Stenberg to Sharks, Malhotra to the Canucks. It's actually the exact same top three I have in my mock draft that I'm going to be probably posting tomorrow. I'll be very interested to see, but I just think that the Sharks can't pass up on Ivar Stenberg. I know there's been some people who said they go after the defenseman, but I just think the Sharks need to go after Stenberg after, he's going to be best player available, and I think that they can probably try and package that other first round pick they have along with maybe like an Eklund or a Chernyshov and maybe try and get a defenseman that way. So very interesting out there. Carolina offensive zone face-off draw. They lose it. Andrea's got the puck now below the goal line. Backhand feed into neutral zone. Carolina, though, intercepts, and they're able to keep the line. Here comes Robinson. Passes in front. Jankowski tried a shot, and he could not put it past Dan Vladar. Philadelphia gets around the boards, but Carolina holds it in. Carrier to Robinson. Robinson knocked off the puck, and now here comes Emil Andrea. Andrea whips it around the boards. Barkey gets it back to, I think that was Andrea. Now here comes Philadelphia trying to get something set up here. Philadelphia shot. That one never reached Anderson. Grunstrom threw Carey down to the ice, I think. Philadelphia, though, does keep possession. It looks like there's no penalty. Oh, now there's a hand up. I think there's a penalty on the play here for the Philadelphia Flyers. So let's see here what this penalty is for. I think it's going to be on Grunstrom. I think, but we'll see here. It looks like it might be on Zegras. I think there might be like some sort of an interference call or something because like one of the Carolina Hurricanes players just got thrown down to the ice. So we shall see what the call is here. Once again, Miller is talking to the officials. And it does look like Zegras might be the one going to the box here. It is a 2-minute power play for Carolina. So the Hurricanes are going right back to the power play. Let's see here. Zegras. He high-sticked Keandre Miller. That's what the call was. So Zegras high-sticked Keandre Miller, and that's why Trevor Zegras is going to the box. So very interesting note there, but Zegras, who does have the only goal right now for the Philadelphia Flyers, is now in the box, and the Hurricanes are going to try another power play attempt to give themselves an insurance marker and go-ahead goal. Let's see here. Hall's got it along the boards, trying to fight for it. Philadelphia gets there, clears it down the ice, and that's going to kill off a few seconds for the Philadelphia Flyers. Miller below the goal line after Anderson stops it, trying to set some things up here. Here comes Keandre Miller. Miller is going to get away from a couple Flyers players, send it back to Ehlers, and Ehlers into the offensive zone. Here come the Carolina Hurricanes. Passes it back to the point, trying to keep it, and the Hurricanes are not. Maybe a little bit of a break here for Philadelphia, and Carolina is able to play it. Anderson's got it. Apparently it was played with a high stick, so Philly couldn't touch it. Anderson is able to get it back to his defenseman, and Miller is going to set some things up here. Keandre Miller back to, I think that's Logan Stankoven. Stankoven sends it into Hall. Hall gets it back to the point to Ehlers. Ehlers across to Blake. Blake to Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere to Ehlers. Ehlers back to Gostisbehere. Or actually, that's Keandre Miller, but never mind. Miller gets it to Stankoven, to Miller, to Ehlers. Oh, and that puck took a deflection. What a stick from one of the Philadelphia Flyers players. It goes all the way down the ice. And 45 seconds left in the power play for the Hurricanes. They're going to have to loop back around. I think that was Dvorak with the nice stick there. Carolina's now got it in the neutral zone, trying to set something up here, and they do get it across. Here comes Nikolai Ehlers, passes it across to Sebastian Aho. The top unit's now back out there. Aho to the point. Gostisbehere's got it, gets away from Hathaway. A shot, and then what a nice stop there from Vladar. Ehlers across, and Aho can't handle the feed. Aho gets it back to the point to Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere to Ehlers. Ehlers back to Gostisbehere shoots, tipped in front, that one goes wide. 10 seconds left in the power play, 5:16 left in the second. Ehlers across, shoots, and that one took a deflection, hit one of the Flyers players, and now the Flyers are just whacking a whole bunch of Canes players. I think Sealer took a penalty, stick up high or a shot up high or something like that. He was hunched over along the ice. And now there's a whistle coming here with 7 seconds left in the Hurricanes' power play. Not sure if there's going to be any penalties that come out of this, but there were definitely some people pushing and shoving. So let's see here. Once again, another nice stick flip here from Glendening, but that was definitely a high stick, why they couldn't play on the shorthanded chance. And once again, Ehlers tried to get back to, I think that was Keandre Miller, but it was a great stick from Christian Dvorak. Then here, let's see. I think Sealer was trying to get out of the way, or he might have taken the shot up high. And then Jarvis just got completely body slammed by a couple of different Flyers players. So it looks like nothing's going to come from that. And Carolina has offensive zone face-off draw. They keep it. Chatfield shoots, tipped, and it just goes wide. Nice try there from the Carolina Hurricanes. And now here's another board battle. Philadelphia's got it. Penalty is over, and Zegras is out of the box. Tries to get the puck in the neutral zone, can't. Carolina is able to get a puck back into the offensive zone, and New York trying to fight for it with Glendening. Carolina does get it. The puck goes up and into the middle of the ice. Philadelphia is able to recover possession, however. Couture's got it. Gets it taken off of his stick. Marchinuk's got it. He's got Carey in front. Tries a backhand feed to Carey. Can't connect. Zegers now has it. He's tripped up a little bit here. Carolina's now got it in the neutral zone. And Slavin sends it back into the Philadelphia zone. Vladar's got it. Leaves it for one of his defensemen as both teams make changes. York's got it. York below the goal line behind Dan Vladar. And he's going to pass it across. Nice play there. And here comes Philadelphia. Sends it back into the offensive zone. And Carolina is going to. It looks like there's a high sticking penalty here, or it looks like there's a penalty of some sorts. Oh, Sanheim is down in a heap. I hope there's nothing bad there, but there's a hand up. I think there's going to be a penalty here on Carolina. I think Philadelphia is about to go to the power play. Maybe one of the Flyers are as well. Let's see exactly what the call is here, because there was some pushing and shoving after the play too. So let's see exactly what the penalty is here. Sanheim was hunched over along the boards. So let's see exactly what the call is here. Let's see here. Sanheim was going here. And, Hall took a bad. Oh, that was a bad hit from Taylor Hall. Oh, Sanheim head went right into the board, so that's not good. He was already falling down, so hopefully Sanheim is all right. That's probably going to be a penalty on the Hurricanes. I don't think that's going to be a major penalty, but it's at least probably going to be 2 for boarding. Not sure what's going to happen with all the other pieces because there were some pushing and shoving afterwards. So we are going to commercial break. We will figure out what happens there. Yeah, Sanheim took that was not a great hit from Taylor Hall. I gotta think that's at least a boarding call, if not a major. Once again, we shall see. I don't think there was enough there for a major, but yeah, Sanheim definitely took a bad boarding call there. So hopefully Sanheim's all right. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, and I do think Philadelphia will probably escape with a power play there. But once again, it does really depend on the extracurricular activity that happened after the play. So we shall wait and see on that. But once again, you guys are not missing anything. We are currently in a commercial break, so you are not missing a thing. We are in the later stages of the second period, and then we'll be having to go over to the third. Once again, maybe there's overtime in this game. These first few games for Carolina and Philadelphia have been low scoring. 3-0 Hurricanes win, 3-2 Hurricanes win in overtime in Carolina. So we shall wait and see on that. Philadelphia, I think, so far 0 for 2 on the power play. So if they do get a power play, that will be their third power play of the game. So they'll be trying to capitalize on that and get their first lead of the game, which would be fantastic there for Philadelphia. So it will be interesting. Once again, it looks like we're just about to get back here to the game, so you are not missing a thing. Just give me one quick second here, folks. Once again, they're looking at that first round series again from Carolina, Philadelphia. And yeah, Sanheim was already falling down. Hall just took a shot at him. Sanheim was down in a heap. Yeah, that's definitely a penalty. And let's see if this is going to be a major or just a 2-minute minor for boarding. We'll see here. Once again, we are back here, so we will figure out what exactly this is here. Once again, the rest are discussing with Toronto. I think they're probably called a major and are reviewing it. So let's see here. Once again, that was just not a good hit. Sanheim was already falling down. He was defenseless, and Hall just once again they're showing another replay here. So Sanheim went onto his knees, and Hall just whacked his head into the boards. So that does not look good. So hopefully Sanheim's all right. I'm guessing he might be held into concussion protocol. That's a possibility. And if this is a major, it's Taylor Hall who's been one of the most dangerous pieces for the Hurricanes the entire series. So if this is going to be a major, not only will the Philadelphia Flyers have a 5-minute power play, but one of the Carolina Hurricanes' best offensive weapons in Taylor Hall will be gone for the game. So once again, we shall wait and see on that. Once again, Sanheim was completely defenseless. So that's not a good play there. Once again, that was going to be called a penalty the entire time. I just don't know if this is going to be a 2-minute minor or a 5-minute major. Once again, Hall is still in the penalty box as the referees decide. So once again, shots are currently 16-10 in favor of the Hurricanes. You're not missing a thing. Looks like the refs have made a decision. And let's see here. It looks like it's a 2-minute boarding call on Taylor Hall. So it looks like there's no major here. I didn't think there was enough for a major. So it is going to be a 2-minute penalty here for a power play here for Philadelphia. Fans are definitely obviously not happy with the call, but once again, the Flyers are going to be going back to the power play. It looks like Sanheim is on the bench. So that's good news. A good thing that I think if we got a little bit more of Sanheim, but it looks like he tried to stop up at the end of it. So yeah, that was going to be called a penalty the entire time, but I think because he stopped up a little bit at the end of it, I do think that's why it's not a major. So very interesting note there, but the Flyers are going to be getting a power play here with 4:12 left in the second period. Offense no face-off draw here for the Flyers. I think Couture is out there against Stahl, and it is going to be a win for. There's a whole bunch of people here for. Let's see here. Carolina's got the puck, and maybe a little bit of chance here for the Hurricanes. Shorthanded. Stahl across the Chatfield, and he scores. Jalen Chatfield, shorthanded. Wow, that didn't take too long. Chatfield with a fantastic goal, shorthanded, just 11 seconds into the Flyers' power play. And here is a nice try here from the Hurricanes as they take a 2-1 lead over the Philadelphia Flyers. Wow, what a goal there from Chatfield. And the Hurricanes, just like that, say, okay, we give up a power play, but we'll score shorthanded. What a goal there from Jalen Chatfield. Stahl's got 2 points in this game. He's got a goal and an assist, both special teams points. So Stahl's having himself a game too. So really good stuff there. Yeah, nice pass by Stahl. Stahl's a very good veteran. He knows how to win faceoffs. He knows how to play defensive-minded games. So I'm not surprised that Stahl had that nice pass to Chatfield. So Chatfield's on the board. Carolina on the power play for Philadelphia. Shorthanded takes a lead. Drysdale's got below the goal line as they try and set some things up here now. Down 2-1 to the Philadelphia Carolina Hurricanes again. I'll change this here really quickly as I try and call this. Just give me a second here, folks. Konechny's got it. Drops off for Zegras. Zegras sends it into Barkey. Barkey trying to hold the line, can't. Now he does. Carolina does get the puck back, and now maybe a little bit of a break here. Again, shorthanded. Here come the Hurricanes. Try and get a shot away. They do, and Jarvis is hooked, I think. Power play upcoming for the Hurricanes. So that's not going to negate the rest of the penalty for the Flyers, the rest of the power play for the Flyers. And I think Jarvis, or actually, no, I think there's actually going to be a penalty on the Hurricanes. Let's see here. Jarvis is incensed. I think they're going to call Jarvis here for high sticking. Once again, we'll straighten that stuff out. Let's just get Carolina here to the 2-goal mark. So we can change that to... Okay, so the Hurricanes are now up 2-1. Let's see here. I thought he was hooked, but that might actually be a penalty. Let's see. Jarvis going up. Let's see here. And he wound up taking a penalty, I think. Let's see here. I thought it was Drysdale who took the penalty. Let's see if there's a holding call, I think, on Drysdale. So let's see here. I think Jarvis wanted a penalty shot. That's why he was barking at the refs. So it does look like it's, I think, a Drysdale penalty. And I think that should make it 4-on-4 for a few minutes. Once again, the referees are once again discussing at center ice. So we shall see exactly what they're calling here. Just give us a quick second here. It looks like Jarvis is going to the penalty box. It seems like. Let's see here, folks. Just give us one quick second while we try and figure out exactly what's happened here. Once again, Jarvis. Once again, I thought it was a holding call on Drysdale. It might have been a holding call on Jarvis. Once again, Konechny through Jarvis. After the play, Jarvis high stick Konechny. That might be why they're going in. It looks like they're both going in, so it looks like it'll still be a Philadelphia Flyer power play. I think the Flyers got a break there because that was a holding call on Drysdale, but after the play, Konechny and Jarvis were shoving each other a little bit, and Jarvis' stick just came up on Konechny. So I think that's why there's not going to be 4-on-4. It'll still be a 5-on-4 power play here for Philadelphia for the next minute and 15 seconds. That's why Jarvis was incensed, because that last high sticking call was called as well. I don't know exactly when the whistle went, but it must have been well enough for the Philadelphia Flyer, for the refs to call Jarvis for the penalty call. So very interesting note there. I think that was Chatfield's first goal of the playoffs, the shorthanded one. Assist goes Stahl and Martinook. So Stahl has a 2-point night. He's having himself a game. And the Hurricanes, thanks to a power play and shorthanded goal, do have a 2-1 lead here. So very interesting note there. There will be, I think, an offensive zone face-off draw here for the Carolina Hurricanes, I think. There's still a 5-on-4 power play here for Philadelphia. Once again, Rod Brindamore. There's a misconduct on Brindamore. It looks like he's barking at the refs. Let's see here exactly what's being. Once again, Brindamore is just barking at the refs. I think he's still very, very incensed about that Jarvis high sticking call. I think he's actually going to be dealt here a game misconduct. Wow. So that's very interesting. Once again, let's see here. It's a 2 minute advantage here for the Flyers now. There's another guy going to the penalty box. I think that's because of the other penalty call on Brindamore. So there's going to be this turned in from a potential 4-on-4 to now a 2 man advantage for the Philadelphia Flyers. 5-on-3 here for Philadelphia. They open the draw. They have it at the point. Martone's got it to Zegras. Zegras shoots, and that one goes wide. And Couturier takes a big hit. Carolina is able to get the puck out. Minute left in the 2 man advantage, and 3:14 left in the period. Martone's got it in the neutral zone. Passes it in. Martone tries to go after it. Can't. Stahl gets it, and he's going to just ever so slightly clear the puck out of the zone. Philadelphia is going to keep it Konechny across to one of the other Flyers to Zegras. Zegras tries to skate in and he does. Zegras has it below the goal line. Backhands a pass to Martone. Martone has it to Forrester at the point. Forrester gets it to Zegras. Zegras to Forrester. 30 seconds left on the 2 man advantage. Zegras to Couturier. Tries a shot. Can't. Tied up by one of the Hurricanes players. Walker, I think that is. And he is able to clear it out. Nice kill there from the Carolina Hurricanes. 20 seconds left in the 2 man advantage. Both teams are changing. Zegras gets it to Forrester, to Martone. Martone back to Zegras. Zegras across, and Konechny can't get there. Konechny does send it back to the below goal line. Forrester's got it. Forrester to Konechny. Konechny to Martone. Martone looking for a pass. Shooting lane, shoots, and that one just went over the net. Forrester with 2-1, 5-on-3 advantage is gone. Here come the Flyers. Back to the other point. Shoots, and that one's blocked. Forrester's got it. Forrester looking for a passing lane. Forrester can't get there. Zegras looking for a pass. Dvorak fighting for it now. And the puck, those come to the point. Philadelphia shoots. It's tipped on goal, and Anderson with the stop. A very nice stop there from Frederik Andersen. 28 seconds left on the power play for the Philadelphia Flyers, and a minute 55 seconds left on the power play. A minute 55 seconds left in the game, second period. So very interesting note. There's some really good opportunities here for Philadelphia, but they just weren't able to get anything going really there. And once again, that Carolina Hurricanes 5-on-3 defense has been looking great. Another nice block there on the shot by, I think that was Couturier. Once again, they're just showing some of the highlights. Michkov tipped it in front. It was deflected by, I think that was Gostisbehere onto Frederik Andersen, but nothing was able to come from it. Carolina's got it, and they can't clear the zone. It's kept in. Philadelphia's got it. Ristolainen. Back to the point to, I think that was Michkov. Back to York. Back in front. Dvorak trying to find a passing lane. Can't. Martone can't hold the line. Neither can Ristolainen. He loses his stick, actually, when the Hurricanes do. And below the goal line. Michkov across. Can't find a loose puck. York's got it around the boards. York to Zegras. Zegras to Ristolainen. Ristolainen back to York. Penalty is over. Tipped in front. Stopped by Anderson. Martone hits him off the puck. And Jankowski is able to get out. Maybe a 2-on-1 break here for Carolina. Here come the Hurricanes. Waiting, shoots, and Martino can't put a hole on the 2-on-1. Missed opportunity there for Carolina. Minute 10 seconds left in the second. Here come the Flyers again. Michkov looking for a passing lane, can't. Blake gets it to, I think that was Hall, and here comes Taylor Hall. Hall in the offensive zone, shoots, took a deflection, goes wide. York goes after it, and the Hurricanes are able to keep in the offensive zone. Passes across to Miller. Miller back to Hall, shoots, and that one was stopped. I think that one went up and out of play by Vladar. 50 seconds left in the second period, and it is still a 2-1 lead for the Carolina Hurricanes. A couple of good opportunities there from Philadelphia, from Carolina, but it was still a 2-1 scoreline for the Hurricanes. So very interesting note there. Once again, a good opportunity here for Martinook, but he could not find it. Oh yeah, that was a wide open net. Martinook had a really good shot. Now there's some more pushing and shoving going. Sanheim's, I think, going after it with one of the Carolina Hurricanes players. I think that might be Hall. It's actually Miller, actually. So, once again, some more rough stuff happening towards the end of the second period. So, yeah, very interesting to note there once again. Hall is, and Dvorak's actually going to go to the penalty box here, it seems like. So, that's not good news there for Philadelphia. Drysdale looks like it's going out of the penalty box, and Dvorak is going in. So, yeah, not great news there. I think that was one of the, let's see what happened here. Sanheim and Hall were shoving each other, and Dvorak bear hugged Hall and took him down to the ice. Oh yeah, that's probably going to be a unsportsmanlike conduct on Dvorak. So that's not good news there for Dvorak. But very interesting to note there that the Philadelphia Flyers are going back to the penalty box. They've kept on giving Carolina power play after power play. Their penalty kill has actually been quite good. It's called roughing for Dvorak. So 2-minute roughing call. If they don't score in the next 50 seconds, that will carry on into the third period. So very interesting note there. Carolina has it in their own zone. Once again, the power play is 1 for 4 tonight for the Hurricanes, but they do have that one power play goal, which is a really big one for them. Carolina has it in their own zone. Aho across to Jarvis. Jarvis backhands a pass to Gossesbear. Gossesbear back to Jarvis. Jarvis fighting for it, can't get there, but Aho does. Aho back to Jarvis. Jarvis fighting for it along with Svechnikov, and Aho is able to get there. Aho tries to get past back to Svechnikov, can't. 16 seconds left on the power play. Here comes Gossesbear. Gossesbear to across, tries to hit to Ehlers, can't. Once again, they're fighting for it in the corner. There's 8 seconds left. Philadelphia clears the puck, and that should do the game, or at least the second period. So, interesting note there, but that's going to be it for the second period. 2-1 scoreline for the Carolina Hurricanes over the Philadelphia Flyers. So, what a great second period that was. We saw Zegers tie the game up. And we saw a shorthanded goal from Jalen Chatfield give the Hurricanes the lead. And now the Carolina Hurricanes are up on the Philadelphia Flyers. Entering the third period, and they're going to start on the power play. So that's very interesting to note there. So once again, we'll just do a really quick intermission report here, and then I'll talk about a couple of other things with you guys here. So once again, it is 2-1 Carolina. The first period, Stahl scored a power play goal from Svechnikov and Gossesbear to give the Hurricanes a 1-0 lead. Zegers will score in the second period from Andrea and Martone to tie it up at 1 apiece. And then Chatfield will score a shorthanded goal late in the second period from Stahl and Martino to make it a 2-1 lead for the Hurricanes. That's currently where we sit right now. The faceoff percentage is now in favor of the Philadelphia Flyers as they are out faceoffing the Carolina Hurricanes 18-14, so they do have the majority of the faceoff wins. Carolina is out shooting Philadelphia right now 18-13. So that's very interesting to note there. Once again, the Flyers are 0-for-4 in the power play, and the Hurricanes are 1-for-4 in the power play, and do have another power play going right now that will carry on into the third period. Hits are 31-24 in favor of Philly. Block shots are 14-7 in favor of Philly. Giveaways are 10-6 in favor of Philly, and takeaways are 4-1 in favor of Philadelphia. So very interesting to note there. Once again, really good stuff there from the Philadelphia Flyers. But once again, they don't have the lead in the shot category, in the power play goal category, or on the score sheet. So very interesting to note there. Once again, just give me a quick second here, folks, and let's just double check some other things here. So once again, you're not missing anything. We are in intermission. I'm going to change this to intermission. Just give me one quick second here, folks. Let's change this into intermission. So that is good. Let's see here. So this is intermission now. So we'll move that into the middle. So that is very interesting. Let's see how everything is going here. So once again, very interesting stuff so far from the Hurricanes and the Flyers. Once again, just a little bit of a quick breakdown for future games. Tomorrow we do have 2 games on the schedule. I will be streaming one of them. Game 2 between Buffalo and Montreal is going to be going tomorrow at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. I will be streaming Buffalo-Montreal at 5 p.m. It'll be very interesting. Buffalo won last night, so it'll be interesting to see if the Sabres are able to get 2 in Buffalo and go to Montreal with a 2-0 series lead, or if that one's going to be split heading to Montreal. And then later on tomorrow, we will have a 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time start between the Knights and the Ducks. That one's going to be a very interesting one. The Ducks won last night, so that series is now 1 apiece. Heading to Anaheim, the Ducks actually did not look too much out of place in that game last night against the Vegas Golden Knights, and Dostal was really, really good. So that series is going to go either way. Winner tomorrow night will be going up to a 2-1 lead in that series. Then on Saturday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, we'll have Carolina versus Philadelphia. And at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we'll have Colorado, Minnesota. If the Hurricanes do hold on for the win here, they'll have a chance to sweep on Saturday. Philadelphia will be trying to stay alive. In the Colorado, Minnesota series, the Wild will be looking for their first series win of the second round. And the Avalanche will be looking to go up 3-0 like the Hurricanes are looking to do tonight. So those are the next 2 days of game action. I will do plan on streaming 5 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow between Buffalo and Montreal. Hope you guys tune in for that one. It should be very, very exciting. Once again, it's a series that I really don't care who wins. I love it if either one of them do. Once again, I'm a Canadian. So cheering for the Canadians is not overly bad. I would love to see the Cup come back to Canada. Also, Buffalo is my fourth favorite team. So seeing the Sabres go into the conference final would also not be too bad in my opinion. So we shall wait and see. But that's going to be a very interesting game tomorrow. And then of course Vegas and Anaheim tomorrow. After tomorrow's live stream, my next live stream will probably be on Monday. Don't know the exact start time yet because we don't know how long that Carolina Philadelphia series is going to go. But on Monday at whatever time it is, I do plan on streaming Game 4 between Colorado and Minnesota. That's going to be a very interesting game on Monday. And then on Tuesday, once again, don't know the exact time at this point in time, but I will be streaming Game 4 between Buffalo and Montreal on Tuesday. So I hope you guys all tune in for those ones next week. Once again, we probably should have a start time after Saturday's games, after we see if Carolina is able to sweep, or maybe even later tonight if the Hurricanes do end up losing this game. So we shall wait and see on that. We'll love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below on who you think winds up going to the conference final. Does the Carolina Hurricanes and the Colorado Avalanche, who are both up 2-0 in this series, do they hold on to those series leads? Is there a chance for Minnesota or Philadelphia to come back? If so, how many games do you think it could take? Could Minnesota win 4 straight? Could Philly win 4 straight? Or would it have to go to a game 7? And on top of that, what do you think about the other two series? Is who wins, Anaheim or Vegas, after both teams won a game in Vegas? And do you think Buffalo is able to keep on rattling off those wins and beat Montreal, or do you think the Habs are able to come back and win that series? I picked my conference finals to be Minnesota Anaheim and Carolina Buffalo, but I would love to hear your thoughts after the first few days of the second round. Who would you have going to that third round in the conference final? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Once again, just a really quick couple of things here. We did see the Norris finalists be announced today. So once again, it was just the top 3 finalists in the Norris voting. So once again, there are other people who got voted, but the 3 finalists for the Norris were Rasmus Dahlin in Buffalo, Zach Werenski in Columbus, and Cale Makar in Colorado. So I'm a little bit shocked that Evan Bouchard did not get top 3 voting. It seems like there was some consideration for him, but it seems like because of his stipulation of not having great defensive games, there was a lot of people who potentially not passed on him, but didn't put him very high in their Norris votes. I'm a little bit shocked. I thought there was a possibility he wouldn't win the Norris, but I thought he would probably have at least been top 3. So very interesting note there. Quinn Hughes had a really good resurgence since entering Minnesota. He was left off the top 3 finalists. On top of that, Lane Hudson, who had a really great season for the Montreal Canadiens, did not enter the top 3 finalists. I'm a little bit surprised Rasmus Dahlin wound up winning it, and not winning it, but being a finalist. Like I was not expecting Dahlin to be a Norris favorite. To potentially win the Norris, and Makar didn't have a great season either. So see Makar and Dahlin finish ahead of guys like Hughes or Hudson or Bouchard is at least a little bit surprising. So very interesting to note there. Yeah, Chikrin was another guy who had a very good season. What do you have, like 24, 25 goals? So yeah, I got to think that Chikrin's somewhere there too, probably at like the 8 or 9 spots. But once again, Chikrin also had a really good season. So like there were probably 3 or 4, maybe even 5 or 6 really elite defensemen this year who were left off the ballot. Another guy's got to be more at Seider. Like Seider had a really good season for Detroit. I know they didn't make the playoffs, but Seider was really, really good, and he was also left off the top 3 finalists. So I got to think there's a couple of guys that'll be very interesting to see in June who ends up finishing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. But you got to think there's going to be a couple of very interesting names out there. I got to think that Bouchard or Hughes or Hudson are probably 4 and 5. I got to think that Chikrin once again is pretty good. I could see him maybe at like 6 or 7. But once again, with how good Bouchard, Hudson, and Hughes were, going to fit the top 3 finalists. I got to think they're probably there somewhere. So very interesting note there. And then yesterday we saw the Selke be announced. A little bit surprising there, but we did see Cirelli, Suzuki, and I think it was Brock Nelson finishing the top 3 for the Selke. I'm not too surprised about Suzuki, one of the best defensive forwards in the game. Cirelli, same sort of thing, really good two-way defenseman, center. Once again, Nelson's a little bit more surprising. I thought there were probably a couple of other options out there to potentially finish ahead of Brock Nelson. But once again, with Alex Barkov, who is a usual favorite to win the Selke, injured this entire season, was a little more open. So Nelson, Cirelli, and Suzuki did finish in the top 3 in the Selke voting. So very interesting note there. I do think Werenski wins it. I think it probably goes with the top 3 being the top 3, Werenski, Makar, and Dahlin, because where would Werenski be without, where would the Blue Jackets be without Werenski? Like, you take Werenski off that team, they're nowhere close to a playoff spot. So once again, I do think Werenski probably wins the Norris, and there's probably Makar and then Darlene, and then probably I would guess like Bouchard, then maybe Hughes or Hudson, then maybe Hudson or Hughes, then maybe a guy like Jacob Chikrin. So we should wait and see on that, but it'll be very interesting to see who's the top like 10 teams, 10 players in the Norris voting. It will be very interesting. Once again, I do think Suzuki probably wins the Selke. That would be my guess, in my opinion. Once again, he's one of the best defensive forwards in the game. I expect like Marner's probably in the top five, but then get in the top three. Stone might be in the top five. Reinhardt might be in the top five for the Selke voting. So I do want to be very interesting to see. I'm surprised that Nelson was able to finish top three, but if I had to guess, it'd probably be Suzuki one for the Selke, and then it'd be Cirelli two, and Nelson three. So that's my guess. We also saw the Calder finalists get announced during the draft lottery. Once again, it was Schaefer, Demidov, and Seneca. I know a lot of people are surprised that Seneca beat out a guy like Jacob Dobesh in the race, in the voting for the Calder. I'm not too surprised. Those were three of the best rookies in the league. I do expect Dobesh to probably be fourth or maybe even fifth in voting. There were a couple of other decent guys like a Jimmy Snuggeroo who had a pretty decent season who didn't finish in the top three. So it'll also be very interesting, but I fully expect Schaefer to win the Calder. Schaefer had one heck of a historic season, tied Brian Leach's all-time rookie goal scoring record. So I definitely expect Schaefer to win the Calder, with probably Demidov being two and Seneca being three, but I could say Seneca being two and Demidov being three. So it'll be very interesting to note there, but I'm not too shocked about the Calder finalists. I'm just a little bit shocked that guys like Bouchard and Hughes were in the top three finalists in the Norris Trophy race. So very interesting to note there. And then once again, on Tuesday, we saw the draft lottery with the Leafs winning the first overall spot, jumping up from fifth to first, and the Sharks winning the second overall spot, jumping up from ninth to second. So it's very interesting to see those two teams win the draft lottery. I was a little bit surprised. I feel bad for Canucks fans. Every time they have really good odds to win the draft lottery, they always fall down in the draft. I know a lot of Canucks fans were talking and saying that they would not be one bit surprised if they would fall down to third in the spot, because it's just their luck. Like, they've never picked first overall. Once again, I feel bad for Flames fans who had aspirations of at least getting like a 1 or 2 overall pick and now pick outside the top 5. So that's not great news there for our Flames team, a Flames franchise who's also never picked first overall in their franchise's history. So that's very interesting to note there. On top of that, once again, with the way it seems right now, I do think that the Leafs will probably take McKenna. That'd be my guess. With the first overall pick, I think they probably don't move Matthews. I know it really depends on Matthews. But I think at this point, they probably keep Matthews, keep McKenna, and try and go for a playoff push next year. Maybe try and rework that blue line. Maybe try and make some goaltending moves. And then when it comes to the Sharks, like, my goodness, the Sharks. The last 4 seasons, they have picked 4th overall, 1st overall, 2nd overall, and 2nd overall. They're going to get, once again, Will Smith, Macklin Celebrini, Michael Misa, and then potentially Ivar Stenberg. I think right now, I know there's a lot of people who have said the Sharks should go defense, but I think Stenberg's just going to be way too good to pass up. You package one of their other forwards, maybe a lower end guy like a William Eklund or Igor Chernyshov with maybe that extra first round pick that Edmonton's going to be giving San Jose this year. Package those things up, maybe try and move those two for a solid stud level defenseman who's already established at the NHL level. That's a possibility. So it'll be very interesting to note there, but man, San Jose's had some very fantastic draft luck. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do. But I mean, if they take Stenberg, they find themselves another top pair defenseman who's on the younger side of things. They get a couple of other defensemen free agency and in the trade market this offseason. Like, San Jose is going to be such a scary team to play for years. Like, let's say they take Stenberg, let's say they move off of William Eklund, just for argument's sake, because they needed to try and acquire someone else. You've got a top 6, if they do that, of Toffoli, Celebrini, Stenberg, Smith, Chernyshov, and there's a couple of other younger guys that they could put in there too. And then you've got like a whole bunch of really good young players you could put in like your 3rd line or your 4th line. Like, the Sharks have such good depth. They have Kiefer Shearer, who they just brought in and extended. So, like, they have so much really good depth that I think San Jose is going to be a playoff team next year. I know the offseason hasn't started yet. We haven't seen how good they're going to be doing, but I just think based off what I've seen so far, if San Jose gets a couple of really solid defensemen, whether that's like a Morgan Riley or a Darnell Nurse, We're trying to get some sort of a defenseman who needs a fresh start. We're going to try and work with that team and maybe try and go after one or two younger defensemen. This team is going to be very, very scary. And not just for next year. Like, I think San Jose is going to be a team who can stay. And I think the dynamics in California sure shifted. Because remember, a couple of years ago, Los Angeles was looking really good. They were the first team to finally make it out of the rebuilds in the in the California teams. And once again, the Anaheim Ducks and San Jose Sharks were slowly rebuilding and slowly rebuilding. And now look where they are. San Jose almost made the playoffs, and I think they're guaranteed locked to make the playoffs next year, as long as they don't get a whole bunch of injuries. Anaheim is currently in the second round, very close to making the third round. They're only 3 wins away, and with the way they played against Vegas last night, I don't think it's a out of the realm of possibility Anaheim can make the conference final. In Los Angeles, they've made the playoffs 5 straight years and been eliminated in round one 5 straight years. So, yeah, it's not been overly great for Los Angeles after making the playoffs before their California rivals. Now it definitely looks like the other two California teams are just running away with the California lead. So, once again, I do think San Jose is probably going to make the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if San Jose took Los Angeles' spot next year. So that would be a very good, bad stab in the back for the Los Angeles Kings. So, once again, I think that Kings' time as reigning Kings of California has come to an end. And I think with the San Jose Sharks now having the second overall pick and Anaheim 3 wins away from the conference final, I think the Ducks and the Sharks are ready to surpass the Los Angeles Kings. So, very interesting note there. Yeah, Musty's another guy who was picked not first overall, but in the first round a couple of years ago. I could see him make the team, sort of like a little bit more rough and tumble guy who can play on the third line. I think he'd be a really solid third liner for that San Jose Sharks team. He could make the team next year. I do think that's a possibility. So, once again, that San Jose Sharks team is stacked. The Ducks team is looking fantastic. Like, all in all, I do think if the Ducks are able to keep some of their defensemen or add some defensemen in the offseason, like, defensemen's really going to make or break the Sharks or the Ducks, because the Ducks have like 3 pending UFAs in Gudas and Carlson and in Trouba. So if they're able to keep at least one, maybe two of those guys, maybe add another defenseman. If the Sharks, who have 4 or 5 pending UFA defensemen, if they're able to keep a couple of their pending UFAs, those teams are going to be very scary to face. And once again, Edmonton's still there, Vegas is still there, but they're not getting any younger. Calgary and Vancouver is just starting rebuilds, and Los Angeles, who knows what the heck is happening with Los Angeles. So, at this point in time, and Seattle, who knows what, at this point, Edmonton and Vegas are still there and still competing, but they're getting older, and they're not looking like they're improving a whole bunch at this point in time. Vancouver and Calgary are going through what should probably be long rebuilds. And then LA and Seattle, they're in the mushy middle. But San Jose and Anaheim, they're both upcoming. I would not be one bit surprised if the Sharks or the Ducks would be able to wind up jumping one of Edmonton or Vegas, and both those teams will not finishing in the top 3 next year. I think that's a possibility. Once again, yeah, that's a possibility if the Knights don't re-sign him. No, they had not re-signed him yet to an extension. Don't know if there's a handshake agreement or something, but they said that they're going to wait for Anderson extension talks until after the playoffs. So Rasmus Anderson has not yet extended in Vegas. Once again, once Vegas acquires pending UFAs, for some odd reason, they always seem to stay in Vegas. But once again, yeah, if Anderson hits free agency, probably the best straight shot defenseman on the market, I could see the Sharks offer him $7, $8, maybe $9 million on a longer term deal and try and sign him to go there. That's a very likely possibility. Yes, I do think Anderson would be a very good fit for the San Jose Sharks, maybe playing with a guy like Sam Dickinson. That could be a very interesting one. So I do agree, Marshall, if the Knights don't extend Anderson and they do let him walk, I do think San Jose could throw a boatload of money to Rasmus Anderson. So that's very interesting to note there. Once again, it looks like we are just about to get back into game action here. I think there's one more commercial break here, so just give me a sec here, folks. Let me just double check here, and then we should be able to do, probably be above $8 million, I would think, because San Jose is not a no-tax state. It looks like we are just about to get back here for Carolina, Philadelphia, so we are just going to stay here. Once again, I think $8 to $10 million. I'm not sure if Anderson's quite a $10 million player, but I think $8.5 to $9 million would probably be very, very doable for the San Jose Sharks and probably deserved for what Anderson gets. Once again, if it's in Vegas, which is a no-tax state, I think they could probably get him around Hannafin's $7 million because of the no-tax state. So once again, $7.5 million for Anderson if Vegas is going to try and extend him, probably around $8.5 to $9 million for San Jose. But once again, the Sharks have a boatload of cap space. Don't have anyone on really longer term deals that are going to really hurt them. Once again, they're probably going to have to sign Celebrini to an extension at some point. But I do think that, yeah, give $8 to $9 million to Anderson. That's not a terrible pickup there. And once again, you got Dmitry Orlov, who's going to be entering the final year of his deal next year. That's going to clear up $6.5 million off the books next offseason. So I think $8 to $9 probably would be some sort of a asking price for Anderson if he was to go to San Jose. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the offseason. It's going to be a very interesting offseason. Don't expect a whole bunch of moves in free agency. Maybe a couple of those bigger names will be very interesting to watch. But there's going to be a lot more moves on the trade market, I would think. And it'll be very interesting to see how many trades there will end up being this year. But we are back here. Carolina does have a power play. They lost the faceoff dot, but now are resetting in their own zone. Carolina trying to get the insurance marker. Here come the Hurricanes into the offensive zone. Passes it to Aho. Aho to, I think that's Ehlers. Ehlers to Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere sets up in the point, gets it back to Svechnikov, turns it over, and Philadelphia clears with 40 seconds left in the power play for the Carolina Hurricanes and 19 and a half left in the third period. So very interesting note there. Hurricanes going forward here into the offensive zone. Here comes Carolina, and Jarvis gets it to Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere sends it back, and he's got it back now. Gostisbehere across to, I think that's Aho. Aho tries to tip in front, and too many bodies in front. Can't get anything on that. Ehlers to Gostisbehere, back to Ehlers. Backhand pass to Gostisbehere. 10 seconds left in the power play. Back to Ehlers. Ehlers shoots, and that one goes wide. Gostisbehere's got it. Gostisbehere, and that one's going to not be able to kept in. Ehlers to Aho, and the penalty is over, so the Flyers are now back to 5-on-5. They clear the ice, and that might be an icing call. I think it is. It looks like it is. So, offensive zone face-off draw here for the Hurricanes. 18:44 left in the third period, and it's still 2-1 Carolina. So, with the stoppage in play, I'll change this to the third period. So, just give me a second here, folks. Let's see the third period. Once again, offenses on face-off draw coming here for the Carolina Hurricanes, currently up 2-1 on the Philadelphia Flyers. So that is very interesting. Once again, Vladar's got in net here right now for the for the Philadelphia Flyers. Offenses on face-off draw for Carolina. They stop them, and they're going to go again here. I think that's Dvorak out there, and he is going to win the draw. But once again, the Carolina Hurricanes get it, tie up, but now Philadelphia gets it. They clear it into the neutral zone, and Carolina is going to stop up and get it. Nice pass there, and they dump it back into the Philadelphia zone. Ristolainen and Stahl go after it around the boards, and Carolina is able to get there. That's actually Carey fighting for it with Konechny, Ristolainen, Stahl's also in there, all fighting for the puck in the corner to the right, down Vladar. And they're trying to fight for it. There's like 6 players in there. The Carolina Hurricanes are able to get there. Miller at the point shoots one, and that one looks like it was blocked. It might have actually hit a Carolina player. And now Philadelphia's got it. Nice pass. Now here comes Konechny in the neutral zone. Makes a move. Trying to get a shot away, he does, and that one goes wide. It might have actually gone high. So just let's see here. It stays in play. Carolina's got it all on the boards. And here come the Hurricanes. Martinook's got it. Dumps it in. Drysdale is trying to find some sort of passing lane, and it's a stoppage in play. I don't know what the stoppage was for. I think it might have been offside. Let's see exactly what the stoppage is here. Konechny, it looks like, is wincing. This might be a penalty here on the Hurricanes, and it is. Keandre Miller is going to the box. Let's see exactly what happened here. Oh, he slashed. Oh, wow. Okay, Miller was just taking some anger out on Konechny, and then Dvorak stepped in. So I think that's going to be a high sticking call, I think. Or actually, there's a 4-on-4 call, because I think because of Dvorak stepping in. Yeah. So Dvorak steps in, and he's going to draw a penalty call himself. So this is going to be a 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes here for the Carolina Hurricanes and the Philadelphia Flyers. Once again, 17:46 here left in the third period. Shots are 18-14 for the Hurricanes, and Tocchet having a discussion with the refs about the call on Dvorak, if he thought that probably shouldn't have been called. So very interesting to note there. Once again, 18-14 shots on goal for the Hurricanes right now, and it is still 2-1 Carolina. Hurricanes trying to close out this game, take the 3-0 series lead. Philadelphia trying to at least tie it and send it to overtime, if not take the lead, and then try and get the win here to try and get back in the series and not wind up trailing the series 3-0 going to a potential elimination game on Saturday. Philadelphia and Carolina just discussing some things as Couturier and Aho go in the faceoff dot. And it is going to be, Dvorak's just taking away power plays from his team at this point. Nikishin's got it, goes around a couple of people, and he's taken off the puck by Couturier, and Couturier has it in the defensive zone. Couturier with a nice feed here. Here comes Forrester, shoots, and that one was stopped by Anderson. A nice shot there from Forrester after a stretch feed from Couturier, and that's going to be stopped from Frederik Andersen. Once again, 3 minutes left into the third period here for the Philadelphia Flyers. Once again, you're not missing anything. There was a stoppage in play. And now there'll be an offensive face-off draw here for the Philadelphia Flyers. 4-on-4 action right now as Miller and Dvorak are in the box. Anderson, once again, they're just zooming in on him. And let's see here, 17 and a half left in the third period. And offensive zone face-off draw here for the Philadelphia Flyers. It's Zegras, I think, in the face-off dot against Aho. And Zegras is able to win it, but the Canes are able to come away with it. Ristolainen can't keep it. A little bit of a break here for Carolina. Jarvis tries to get to Aho, can't. Ristolainen is able to take it away from him, and the Philadelphia is able to reset a bit here. Zegras has it below the goal line, and he's going to try and set up something up. Minute 29 left in the 4-on-4. Zegras is going to loop back around into his own zone, tries to get something going here. Zegras into the neutral zone, hounded away by one of the Carolina Hurricane players. It goes into Carolina's zone, but Philadelphia loses control of it, and Ehlers gets it to Gostisbehere to Ehlers, and Ehlers going to start some things up here. Here comes Nikolai Ehlers into the offensive zone, 1-on-4. Shoots on net, and that one goes a little bit above the net. Bum trying to fight for it with Blake, and the puck gets to Carolina. Shoots! Stopped on Walker, I think that was. And now Philadelphia does have a little bit of possession time here. Here comes, I think that's Bump. Bum trying to find some sort of passing lane, gets it to Barkey. Barkey shoots! And that one, I think, went wide. And I think that one might have actually went high. There's a stoppage in play here. 4-on-4 left for 50 seconds in this game here, and then there'll be 16 and a half minutes of third period action. So very interesting note there. Anderson against, once again, York is being drawn to the penalty box. Let's see exactly what this is for here. Once again, a couple of nice opportunities here from the Hurricanes. Philadelphia was able to get a little bit of a step here. Bump could not get away from Gostisbehere. Barkey got it, a nice shot. And I think that might actually be a penalty on York for goalie interference, maybe. Let's see here. Barkey had it. And once again, he tried to shoot it, tried to go high. And, York hit into Anderson just a tiny bit. But that might have been enough to draw the call. So let's see here. And, there's going to be a 4-on-3 power play for Carolina for 50 seconds. And then a 5-on-4 power play for a minute and 10 seconds. Philadelphia is just giving this game away to Carolina. Carolina scores another power play goal. It might be game over. Once again, let's see here. Goalie interference for York. They do win the draw. 4-on-3 power play here for the Hurricanes. Gostisbehere at the point. Gets it across to Svechnikov. Back to Gostisbehere. Across the other side. Aho's got it. They're 1 for 5 on the power play so far. Aho shoots, and that one goes wide. Svechnikov's got it. Back to Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere to Aho. Aho to Svechnikov. Svechnikov looking for a pass. Svechnikov gets to Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere to Aho. Aho Svechnikov shoots, and that one goes in. Andrei Svechnikov power play goal, and that might be the dagger. I know it's only 3-1. There's still plenty of time in the third period, but still not overly great news there for the Hurricanes, and that is just not great news there for the Hurricanes. Svechnikov with an absolute rip. Not great news there for Philadelphia. They're looking like they're about to go down in this series 3-1. So 3-0. So not great news there. Once again, just showing the passing play here. Aho's got it. Svechnikov got to Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere back to Aho. Nice pass from that triangle up top, and it just squeaked through Vladar. And that one, like I said, there's still 16 minutes left. It's not over yet. But with the way Carolina's playing defensively, that one might be the dagger. So Carolina's up 3-1 and very close to starting this playoffs 7-0. So really good stuff there. 22 seconds left here on 4-on-4 action for the Hurricanes and the Flyers before we wind up going to another one. Once again, offensive zone face-off draw here for the Hurricanes. We're just going to see some things here. And once again, now there's only a few minutes left here, and it looks like the penalty was killed. So really good stuff there for Philadelphia. Still 3-1 for the Carolina Hurricanes. Philadelphia's got in their own zone. Tries a leapfrog pass here. Stretch feed could not. I think it's going to go far enough for icing. It will. So 15 and a half minutes left in the third period. Carolina's at 3-1 of Philadelphia. Once again, I think that Svechnikov goal might just be the dagger for the Philadelphia Flyers. I can't see Philadelphia scoring 2 goals in 15 minutes with the way Hurricanes are playing defensively. Philadelphia, that was my one concern going into this series. Philadelphia has a really stingy defense, a great goaltender in Vladar, but their offense does just lacks weapons at this point in time. Once again, I'm surprised they got past Pittsburgh, but once again, that defense and goaltending was able to get them by Pittsburgh. It just can't get them by Carolina at this point. Bump has it in the defensive zone. Bump with a little bit of a stretch feed, and that one's going to go up and out of play. I think that one hit a stick. The Hurricanes are calling for them to call a delay of game. Let's see here. Once again, the puck is going to be get by a fan, so very interesting to note there. Once again, they're just showing the fan that wound up catching that errant puck. Once again, you're not missing anything here. 15 and a half left in the third period. Offensive no face-off draw here for the Hurricanes, and there was no penalty on the play. Jankowski's got it, and he's going to be waved out of the faceoff dot. So in comes, I think that's Will Carrier out there against Alex Bump, or actually no, it's Christian Dvorak. Dvorak wins the draw, and the Philadelphia Flyers are able to loop it back in their own zone. Nice tip around, trying to get away from the Hurricanes, and they do, but they just can't get anything going. Sealer in his own zone. Stops up, nice speed there across to, I think that's Dvorak. Dvorak drops it off for one of the Flyers players, tries to shoot, and nice stop there from Anderson. Carolina clears the zone, and Philadelphia has to go back into the neutral zone to refresh. Here's Andrea. Andrea across to, I think that's Sealer. Sealer gets it to the red line in, dumps it in. And now here come the Hurricanes. Nikishin across to Gossesbear, and Gossesbear is going to dump it in. And now here come the Philadelphia Flyers trying to fight for it. And they are able to get it along the boards, but once again, it's just out of their reach. Carolina in their own zone is going to be able to stop up. Ehlers has it. Ehlers sends it into the neutral zone. Philadelphia knocked off the puck. Carolina is able to get it again. Nikishin gets it to, let's see here, it's Ehlers. Ehlers across, shoots, and that one's going to be stopped. Once again, the Hurricanes trying to fight for it. Gossesbear across the Stahl. Stahl trying to fight for it, and he does get it. Back into the offensive zone. 14 minutes left in the game. And was currently a 3-1 Hurricanes lead. Philadelphia does get possession of the puck. They loop it around, and Philadelphia is able to grab it. Here come the Carolina Hurricanes in their own zone. Once again, just previewing here really quickly. Knights and Ducks tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time. I will be doing a 5 p.m. Mountain Time live stream tomorrow for Montreal Buffalo Game 2. Carolina is going to put into the offensive zone. Vladar leaves it for one of his Flyers players, and Martone can't get it there, but the Flyers do wind up getting possession. Bump now has it. Bump is going to turn it over to the Carolina Hurricanes. I think that was Ehlers, and he's just going to dump it in. Carolina is just suffocating Philadelphia's offense right now. Drysdale's got it. Drysdale looking for a passing lane, can't get there. Aho's got it. Back to the point to Chatfield. Chatfield looking for a second of the game, and Vladar is going to snag it with the glove and bring up a stoppage in play. I think that'll mean we'll go to a commercial break. It is now 3-1 Carolina, and they are looking really good to send this game to the finish line, take a 3-0 series lead, and go into Saturday with a chance to sweep. So that's very interesting to note there. Once again, we're in a commercial break, so you are not missing a thing. Just give me one quick second here, guys. So very interesting to note there. It's been a very interesting game so far between the Hurricanes and the Flyers. Like early on, this was looking like a really close game, but Carolina's just taking control of it. And once again, Philadelphia in the first round is what Carolina is right now. If Carolina gets out to a 1 or 2 goal lead, that defense, their goaltending, they're just going to stifle you. So once again, it's looking really good for the Carolina Hurricanes right now. And once again, I'm not sure if Philadelphia's even going to be able to get one win in this series the way the Carolina Hurricanes are playing. This might be back-to-back sweeps for the Carolina Hurricanes to go into this Eastern Conference Final. So we shall wait and see. And once again, if they do wind up sweeping, which I think that game will go wind up Tuesday, is Game 4, or actually Game 4, I think, might be on Sunday or Monday. It's Saturday, Sunday, or Monday right now. Game 4 will be for Carolina, Philadelphia. I can't remember exactly. Just give me one quick second here, folks. I just want to double-check that. Let's see here. Once again, Carolina's got the lead. Carolina's next game, yes, Game 4 will be on Saturday. So that will be a day after Game 2 for the Sabres and Habs series. So if that series goes, like, let's say 6 or 7 games, Carolina's going to have like a week and a half off between the end of their second round and the conclusion and the start of the Eastern Conference Final. So they're going to have a lot of time off if they do wind up sweeping the Philadelphia Flyers, and that Sabres-Habs series goes like 5, 6, 7 games. So that's going to be very interesting. Once again, I think the Minnesota Wild, who are playing, I think no, they're playing on Saturday. I think the Wild have a chance to bring that series back in. Like I've said, I always see one series in the second round where teams up 2-0 wind up losing. A couple of years back against Vegas, Colorado had 2-0 series lead when they were the President's Trophy champs, blew it. Carolina, I think, goes back in 2022 had a 2-0 series lead against the Rangers. They blew it last year. Leafs against the Panthers. Leafs had 2-0 series lead. They blew it. Once again, the President's Trophy curse, I still believe the Wild have a chance. They're going to have to win that game on Saturday, so very interesting to note there. Philadelphia does have it in the defensive zone, but they lose to Carolina. Slavin dumps it into the offensive zone. Blake fighting for it, as is Stankoven. Stankoven gets it. Shot from the Carolina Hurricanes, and that's stopped. Stankoven's got it across to Slavin. Slavin dumps it down, and the Carolina Hurricanes are going to keep in the offensive zone. Puck in front, but there's no one there for the Hurricanes, and Philadelphia's going to be able to get the puck back. Philadelphia dumps it into the neutral zone, into the offensive zone. Couturier stops up, gets it, shoots, and that one stopped. Rebound, Anderson, they were jamming away at it, but Anderson is able to stop. Now Hathaway throwing punches at some people. Slavin's got Hathaway in a headlock, and now the scrum ensues. I think if this game gets out of hand, if Philadelphia can't get a goal in the next, let's say, 5 to 7 minutes, this game's probably going to get a little bit ugly. So, interesting to know there, Hathaway and Blake are barking at each other. Some more rough stuff here. And once again, let's see, Couturier stopped up, passed it across to Hathaway. It was Hathaway. And Hathaway tried to jam away a loose puck, but Anderson already had it covered. And then, of course, a lot of the Flyers are just trying to take swings at Hathaway. So, very interesting to note there. That was Hathaway going after Blake and Chatfield and Slavin. So very interesting out there. Glendenning's over there. Couturier's over there. So once again, I feel like if this game gets another 5 or 6 more minutes into the third period with no goals from Philadelphia, they're going to start getting ugly. So once again, Anderson in this series so far is a .86 goals against average and a .964 save percentage. Tells you how good Freddie Anderson has been in this series. Philadelphia can't get a breakaway, and Carolina scores, and that might be the dagger. Once again, I think there already was the dagger, but that was a breakaway goal from, I don't know who that was. Let's see here, Nikolai Ehlers. Breakaway goal. That one might be the dagger. Hurricanes up 4-1, and this series might be over at this point. What a goal from Nikolai Ehlers off the breakaway. One on defense's own faceoff draw, stretch feed from Gostisbehere to Martinook. Martinook left it for Ehlers, and Ehlers just with a huge goal. This game's probably over at this point. This is going to go up to 4, and the Hurricanes are going to go up to a 4-1 lead. What a game from the Carolina Hurricanes, and they are just cruising right now. Was huge goal there from Carolina, and Flyers fans are already leaving the arena. So, interesting stuff there. Ehlers was second of the postseason. I always thought Philadelphia was going to be outmatched, and they would be this outmatched. Voladar has it below the goal line, and he's going to leave it for the Philadelphia Flyers. And once again, a couple of players get tangled up in the corner. They get along the boards. And Philadelphia now has a little bit of a break here. Barkey trying to get something going. Carolina hits the stick. Philadelphia is able to keep it in the zone, but once again, Stahl blocks the shot attempt, and Walker's going to get it to Ehlers. Ehlers fighting for the puck, and he's going to send it back down to Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere, I think that is, or actually it might be Slavin. No, it's Chatfield. Chatfield in his own zone with 12 minutes left. Tries to start some things up. Carolina now 4-1 on the Philadelphia Flyers. They lose it at neutral ice. Send it back into the Hurricane zone. Hurricanes are pretty okay with just content to just playing defensive hockey at this point. Carolina's able to get Svechnikov across. Now here comes Ehlers. I think that is actually Svechnikov to Jarvis. Svechnikov shoots, and that one goes wide. And now the Hurricanes have it again. Shot, that one goes wide. And the Hurricanes can't get anything out of the zone. Here comes Philadelphia into the neutral zone, and Carolina does have it. They send it back into the neutral zone. Here comes Jarvis. Streaking in, shoots, and he can't get a shot away. The puck goes below the goal line. Players are fighting for it. 11 and a half left in this third period with Carolina up 4-1. And the Philadelphia Flyers now get the puck into the neutral zone. Here comes Philadelphia trying to get some sort of a break. Is Martone, and he's just going to dump it down. Anderson's got it in the defensive zone for the Hurricanes. And Nikishin's got it. Sends it back. A nice pass there from Gostisbehere. And Gostisbehere sends it up to the Hurricanes. And that's going to be going into the offensive zone. for the Hurricanes, and that one goes flipped up into the benches. I think that one actually might be the delay of game. It's Dvorak again. What is with Dvorak? He's going to the penalty box. What's that? His third time in the last, like, was it 9-10 game minutes? Dvorak's just having himself a terrible game. What a bad game here so far from Dvorak. He's going to the penalty box for the delay of game. The Hurricanes have another power play upcoming. Once again, I think the Flyers players were calling for an offside call before that Dvorak play, and yeah, Dvorak just flipped it into the crowd. So once again, a bad game's turned worse here for the Philadelphia Flyers. Puck over glass, delay of game, power play here for the Hurricanes. Stankoven's got it, across, back to the point, but there's no one there. They're 2 for 6 on the power play so far. Carolina has it in the defensive zone. Here comes Keandre Miller. Miller getting into the offensive zone, dumps it in, and Philadelphia is going to try and keep it get out of the offensive zone for the Hurricanes, and they are able to get to the point, but not out. Miller's got it across. Stretch feed pass to Hall was not being able to get there, and Philadelphia does have it shorthanded. Couturier tries to get it across, and no one's there. Philadelphia is going to turn it over to Carolina. Blake has it in the neutral zone, gets it into Hall. Hall stopped up, but he does get it to Miller. Miller's got 2-on-1 here. And Blake shoots, stopped, rebound is going to be covered up by Vladar. Offensive zone face-off draw here for the Hurricanes with 10:20 left in the third period. So once again, this Philadelphia Flyers team they don't look good. They look like the Pittsburgh Penguins in round one. Like, they have no offense. As much as Martone's really good and Konechny's really good, they just don't have enough offensive pieces on this team. And they can play a really good, hard, checking playoff-style game, but they have no offensive weapons here. 4-1 here for Carolina. Shots are now 25-17 in favor of the Hurricanes. And there's only 10:20 left in the third period and probably the game. I don't think Philadelphia is coming back on this one. Let's see here. And the Hurricanes are going to be waved out of the zone. Aho's going to be sent back to the point, it looks like. And Ehlers, I think, might be coming in for the face-off draw. Let's see here. Let's see. No, I think actually might be Jarvis coming in for the face-off draw here. Jarvis against Couturier in the face-off dot, and Couturier is able to win it. Philadelphia has it below the goal line. Ristolainen sends it down the ice. Just right past Anderson. But once again, it's a power play, so there's no icing. 1:02 left in the power play. 10 minutes left in the third period, and was turned into a blowout here for the Carolina Hurricanes in very short succession. 55 seconds left on the power play. So far, 3 special teams goals here for the Hurricanes, and 1 breakaway goal from Nikolai Ehlers. Here comes Jarvis, who sends it back to the point. Philadelphia is able to intercept, and they are able to. Carolina is able to keep it in. And here comes offensive zone face-up, or offensive zone pressure here for Ehlers, but he just couldn't get the shot away. Ehlers loops back around, tries to get across to, I think that was Jarvis, but he could not. Now Gostisbehere has it. Gostisbehere to Ehlers. Ehlers to Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere to Ehlers. Ehlers with a shot, stopped, rebound, and that one trickles just wide. Jarvis has it. Back to the point to Ehlers. Ehlers across, tries to hit Aho, can't. Puck goes up and up. Stays in play, Philadelphia. Trying to fight for it, and they are able to get it, and they do have it into the neutral zone. Couturier takes it, stops up, 4 seconds left on the power play. They do leave it, and maybe a little bit of a break here for Philadelphia. York, in, shoots, stopped by Anderson. And Carolina is able to get the puck back. Penalty is over, but Hurricanes still have the puck in possession. And once again, fighting for keeping it, and they are able to descend it into the Philadelphia zone. Right on Dan Vladar, he covers up with 8:55 left in the third period, and a 4-1 Carolina Hurricanes lead. So it's right now looking very, very bleak for the Philadelphia Flyers to come away with a win in this game. So very interesting to note there. Once again, Sanheim and Martinook barking at each other with 8:55 left. I said if this game got out of hand for Philadelphia, we could see some rough stuff, and that's a very good possibility with just under 9 minutes left here. Philadelphia Flyers fans leaving Philadelphia's arena. And I don't blame them. It's 4-1 Carolina. So once again, I'll probably just wrap this up as soon as the game ends. So very interesting note there. Once again, with the commercial break, I'll just let you guys know my schedule for the upcoming over the next couple of days. So my next live stream will be tomorrow at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, streaming Buffalo, Montreal. Going to be a very interesting one in Buffalo. And then I won't have another live stream until Monday next week when I'm going to be doing Colorado, Minnesota. Once again, do not know the time of that game yet. Probably won't know that time until Saturday evening. But either way, On Monday, I do plan on doing Colorado, Minnesota game 4. And on Tuesday next week, I plan on doing Montreal, Buffalo game 4. So I hope you guys all tune in for those games next week. But once again, I am going to be doing definitely Buffalo, Montreal live stream tomorrow at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So I hope you guys all tune in for that. Then on top of that, we will have a couple of videos coming out over the next couple of days. I should have a Tramer video out potentially tonight or tomorrow morning. Once again, daily fan reaction, game recap. So we should have a fan reaction to this game tonight, tomorrow at some point. So I hope you guys all tune in for that one. I should have my mock draft. I want to do my first post-lottery mock draft tomorrow at some point, hopefully in the morning. So we'll see when that comes out. But I do hope to have it out at some point tomorrow. And then, of course, we should have an off-season preview video out maybe tomorrow or on Saturday. We'll figure out a later date. But I do hope to have at least one off-season preview video out this week. Probably will be St. Louis, Detroit. We'll be looking at what they need to do in the off-season to get better. So that's probably the schedule for this upcoming week. So we should have a trade rumor video out, a mock draft video out, and an off-season preview out video out at least over the next couple of days. And then, of course, we will have regular fan reaction game recap videos as usual. And then, of course, next week we'll have power rankings again. Next week's we'll have the NHL has a script, which will be very, very interesting with how these series are going. On top of that, we should have, once again, some more trade rumor off-season preview videos tomorrow or next week. So I hope you guys all tune in for that. And like we said, we're probably going to do a couple of live streams. Really, that's depending on how long some of these series go. So Carolina went to offensive zone face-off draw, 8:50 left in the third period. Philadelphia has it below the goal line, tries to get out, and they are able to, but stays in the neutral zone. Carolina sends it back into Philadelphia's zone, and Sealer is back in the zone to set up something, trying to get at least set up something. Andrea's got now back to Sealer, trying to find some stretch free, and he does, but it's intercepted by Carolina, and they do send it back into the Philadelphia zone. Philadelphia chases after 8.5 left in the third period. Andrea in his own zone, trying to set something up here, sends it back across to, I think that's Martone. Martone sends it into the offensive zone, and they loop it around to the other side. Andrea holds it. Andrea sends it around the boards, can't, but now he does. Back across, tries to get to Grunstrom, can't. Fighting in the corners, Andrea and one of the other Carolina Hurricanes players. The puck gets chipped all the way out into the neutral zone, and Philadelphia's got it at the red line. Philadelphia with a nice pass, but there's no one there. Carolina's got in their own zone. 7:50 left in the third period, and Philadelphia down 3-1. Philadelphia trying to get the puck back. York has it. York to Martone. Martone tips it in, or actually it's Bump who tips it in off the Martone shot in. And once again, Carolina gets it back into the neutral zone. Bump, Aho fighting for it along with Zegras. And I think this might actually be a penalty here on Carolina. I think there might be a high sticking call here for the Hurricanes. So we shall see on this. Once again, 7.5 left in the third period. And once again, I hope you guys all tune in for my updated schedule. Once again, I will be streaming tomorrow's game, Montreal Buffalo at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So that is my next live stream. And then I'm hoping to do a couple of live streams early next week. But once again, later next week, when we're getting into the 5, 6, and 7s, we have to figure out the start times and, of course, who's actually playing games 5, 6s, and 7s. So that's all going to be decided later on. But I am hoping to do game 4s of Minnesota, Colorado, and Buffalo, Montreal next week, Monday and Tuesday. And then, of course, tomorrow, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, we'll have Buffalo Montreal, and I expect that game is going to be a lot more entertaining than this one because this one's more of a defensive-minded battle between Carolina and Philadelphia. And Buffalo and Montreal, they do have some really good defensive aspects, but they can play run-and-gun hockey because they're both really young and exciting teams. So that will be a very interesting game tomorrow, but I do appreciate the comment. I thank you for that. Once again, there is a power play here, so I think there was a high sticking call on the Hurricanes. So Philadelphia's gone the offensive zone. Couturier is waved out of the face-off draw, so Zegras is now facing off out there against Stahl. Once again, Couturier was waved out of the face-off draw, so they're just trying to discuss how they're going to set some things up now. 7.5 left in the third period. Shots are 27-18 for Carolina, and Philadelphia on the face-off draw does win the draw, but once again, they're going to redo it here. Once again, so Zegras out there against Stahl in the face-off draw, face-off dots, trying to win this offensive zone draw for the Philadelphia Flyers. Zegras has it, and he's just, once again, I think he just tweaked his arm or something. He's just moving his arm around right now, and Zegras does wind up winning the draw. Couturier gets it to the points. Drysdale across back to Drysdale. Drysdale with a shot, and that one's tipped in front, rebound, and it can't get there. Philadelphia does hold the line for a second. Forrester is able to get it to Couturier. Couturier sends it back to the point to York. York on the face-off draw. York at the point to Forrester. Forrester can't do it. Carolina gets it, clears the zone. That's just going to kill off a little bit more time. 7:15 left in the third period, and Philadelphia needs 3 goals to tie. Drysdale's got it in his own zone. Sends it back to one of the Philadelphia Flyer players. And in comes York. York across to Forrester. York does send it deep into the Carolina zone. Chatfield fighting for it, as is Barkey. Carolina is able to get around the boards, and the Hurricanes do have a chance here. A little bit of a break here for Jankowski, but Drysdale is able to whack it away. Jankowski then just sends it deep into the Flyer zone and goes for a change. Konechny has it in his own zone, a minute left on the power play, 6:45 left in the third period, and what was looking like a very dejected Philadelphia Flyers team. Flyers fans are leaving the building. It's just not been a great game here for the Flyers. Barkey's in, trying to make some moves, can't. Carolina's got again, and they send it back down the ice again, 50 seconds left on the power play. So, very interesting note there. I think it's a very good idea that I stream this game, because I think if I was to wait until this game went to a 5 or 6, I have a very good feeling this series isn't going 5 or 6. Philadelphia's got it. They're able to stay on side. Drysdale's got it deep into the Philadelphia zone. And Dvorak's got it. Dvorak to the point. York's got it. York across. Matone shoots, tried to have a backdoor feed and could not. Philadelphia is able to keep the line, though. Gets around to the point, and they send the puck back down. So Dvorak's got it in his own zone, and he's going to try and set some things up. 5:50 left in the third period, and Philadelphia still needs 3 goals to tie. Sanheim's got it. Into the offensive zone, loses possession. Carolina sends it deep into the Flyers zone. 4, 3, 2, 1. That is the edge. That is it for the power play for the Philadelphia Flyers. Philadelphia does keep possession, but they're in their own zone. 5.5 left in the third period, 4-1 Hurricanes. Here come the Philadelphia Flyers into the offensive zone. Once again, that's fine, Marshall. I do appreciate it. If you can tune in, that'd be fantastic. But if you're not on time, that's fine. I don't really... I do appreciate you for tuning in anyways, no matter what time you guys tune in for. So once again, we'll be doing 5 p.m. Mountain Time, Buffalo, Montreal. So I do appreciate it, Marshall, if you do wind up tuning in tomorrow. Carolina has it in the offensive and the defensive zone. 5 p.m. Mountain. 5 minutes left in the third period. Carolina does have it again. Blake shoots. That one's going to be stopped by Vladar. Goes around to the point. Carolina keeps it in. Nice pass. I think that's Hall. Gets it back to Gostisbehere. Tries to get a shot away. Can't. Gostisbehere is going to send it around the boards to Blake. Blake stops around for Stankoven. Stankoven's goal streak might come to an end tonight. Or actually, I think it came to an end last game. But either way, Stankoven, Hall lines, once again, been very interesting. And I do appreciate all of your guys' support for these lives. That's the only way I can able to do these. So I do thank you once again. If you guys can, leave a subscribe, like, comment down below. Once again, we're trying to hit 750 subscribers in the next couple of weeks. So that'd be great. Robinson with a shot, stopped by Vladar. 4.5 left in the third period. Still a 4-1 Carolina Hurricanes lead. So once again, Carolina is doing a lot of really good things here. Once again, Andreas sends it into the Carolina Hurricane zone. Anderson sends it off the boards. Philadelphia is able to keep it in the offensive zone for a time being. Carolina now gets it into the neutral zone. 4 minutes left in the third period. So very interesting note there. They're sent back into their own zone. And once again, Andreas waiting under 4 minutes to go now in the third period. Once again, shots are now 28-19 in favor of the Hurricanes. So yeah, it's been very interesting. Game 4 is going to be on Saturday. Don't plan on streaming that game, but it's going to be very interesting to see if the Hurricanes are able to complete the back-to-back sweeps to open this year's playoffs. Once again, Jarvis is able to hit them off the puck, and Philadelphia has it in their own zone. 3.5 left in the third period. Philadelphia fighting for a puck here. They lose it. Carolina gets to the red line, clears it in. And once again, this is just the way Carolina wants to finish up this game. They don't mind just chipping it in and just sending it back into the Philadelphia zone. Philadelphia's gone to the neutral zone. Carolina with the intercept. Chatfield across to Ehlers. Ehlers gets it back to the defenseman. And Carolina sends it back into the Philadelphia zone. Once again, 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in the third period. Philadelphia does have it in the offensive zone. Head off a Carolina player. Stays in the Philadelphia zone. 3 minutes left in the third period. Couturier just sends it into the Philadelphia's Carolina zone. Carolina gets it back. Maybe a little bit of a break here for the Hurricanes. Jankowski into the offensive zone. Or actually, that's Ehlers who stops up. Tries to get a pass across the Stahl. Does. Stahl shoots. And that was stopped by Vladar. Puck's loose. Philadelphia gets it along the boards. They're able to send it to the point, but not out. Carolina keeps it in. And Philadelphia is just going to get the puck back. 2.5 left in the third period. Once again, Philadelphia and Carolina, I think, are just content to go into Game 4. It doesn't look like Philadelphia is trying a whole bunch at this point. Konechny does have it though in the offensive zone, tries to tip it past a couple of Hurricanes players, can't. Walker's got it, loops it around the boards, and the puck goes all the way down the ice. And I think that might be a penalty, not a penalty, but icing, and it is. And once again, there's some more rough stuff going on. I thought this might be the case. Once again, Konechny's fighting out there with, I think, Chatfield or Miller. Jankowski's fighting with Hathaway, or Couturier, actually, that is. And yeah, there's just a whole bunch of players fighting here. Anderson's involved here. Anderson trying to get a couple of Flyers players out of there. Once again, Carolina and Philadelphia just heaving away at a couple of different players. There's 2:19 left in the third period, so I have a feeling this last 2:19 of the third period might be very, very rough and tumble the next 2 minutes and 19 seconds. There's probably going to be a whole bunch of misconducts just sent off here. So once again, you're not missing a thing. Let's see what exactly happened here. Yeah, Konechny hit the stick out of Keandre Miller. He bear hugged him, and then all of the Carolina Hurricanes and Philadelphia Flyers players just concaved on all of them. So very interesting note there. Once again, I'll probably just end this stream after the third period ends. This is probably not going to be a very long post live stream because this is just a very interesting low event game. So once again, just going to reiterate my schedule here for the next couple of days during this commercial break, and then I'll probably just conclude the video after the third period is finished. So let's see here, just to recap here, at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, I will have tomorrow Buffalo-Montreal. It's going to be a very interesting game, high event hockey. I do expect that to be a very interesting one. So at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, I will be doing a live stream tomorrow. And then also on Monday, we're doing Colorado, Minnesota, Game 4. And on Tuesday, we're doing Montreal, Buffalo, Game 4. Once again, I do not know the times for those games yet because they haven't been announced yet, but I should probably by like Friday or Saturday know the times on those games. But either way, stay tuned. When you do see Minnesota and Colorado game times coming out, that will be when I'm streaming those games. And for Buffalo, once again, and against Montreal. So those are going to be some very interesting games. And of course, I do have some other videos happening over the next couple of days, shorts for the game recaps, fan reactions. Those ones are all going to be out over the next couple of days. I try to do daily fan reaction or game recaps. So I try and do those things. And then, of course, I hope to have at least a trade rumor video, a mock draft video, and off-season preview out over the next couple of days. And then, of course, next week we'll have what if the NHL had a script. We'll have power rankings. And then we'll try and have a couple more trade rumors and off-season previews depending on how things go. So we shall wait and see on that. But that is my current schedule for this upcoming week, for the rest of this week, once again. So I do appreciate you for tuning in, Kat. I do appreciate that. Even though it's lunchtime for you right now, I do appreciate you tuning into the live stream. And I hope you guys tune in for tomorrow's live stream. And then, of course, next week's live streams, we're getting very close to seeing which teams goes to the conference final. Carolina will be, it looks like, one win away from the conference final entering Saturday's game, which is going to be a very interesting game if I do say so myself. Once again, this game's turned to a little bit of a more boring sort of game. Carolina's going to get a power play out of that one. Probably a couple of misconducts were handed out, so I expect this last few minutes to be a little bit of a longer last few minutes. Once again, they're just announcing all of the penalties here. There's a slashing call, roughing call. Couturier looks like he might be gone, so we shall wait and see on that. There's 2:19 left in the third period, so I'll stay with you guys until the conclusion of the actual game, and then I'll probably peace out. So once again, that is probably the plan here, and then of course I'll try and get a couple of videos out over the next couple of hours or potentially tomorrow morning. So we shall wait and see. Once again, they're just previewing the Habs Sabres game, which will be happening tomorrow, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. I do plan on doing that one. Once again, 2:19 left, 2-minute power play here for the Hurricanes. They're just straightening all the penalties out here, so you're not missing a thing. Once again, this game started with a power play goal from Jordan Staal in the first period. That was followed up by a second period delayed penalty call goal by Trevor Zegras, which was really good there from Zegras. Then, once again, late in the second period, the Hurricanes will get a shorthanded goal from Jalen Chatfield, pass from Jordan Staal. That'll give them a 2-1 lead, and then 2 early third period goals, a power play goal from Svechnikov, and a breakaway goal from Ehlers gave the Hurricanes a 3-4-1 lead, and that's currently where he sits. Once again, Philadelphia gets the puck out, chasing after it with 2 minutes left in the third period. Hurricanes have 1:45 left on the power play. They are 2 for 7 so far tonight on the power play, so not great. power play percentage, but once again, they do have a couple of power play goals, which has been helping them get through this game and get the lead at this point. Once again, the special teams battle is currently 3 goals for Hurricanes, 2 power play, 1 shorthanded, to none for the Philadelphia Flyers. So 5-on-5, they both got 1 goal, but special teams has been the difference maker here for the Carolina Hurricanes. Minute 40 left in the third period, minute 20 left in the power play for the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina gets into the offensive zone. Philadelphia is going to stop it up. Ristolainen gets it across, and Philadelphia dumps it back into the Carolina zone with a minute left and a minute 25 left in the third period. So this is looking like it's going to be the end of it here for the Hurricanes and the Flyers. Philadelphia gets it, shoots, stopped by Anderson, and Carolina's going to get there below their own goal line. It looks like they're content to just pass the puck in their own zone. 50 seconds left on the power play, minute 10 left in the third period. So this game's looking like it's basically over. Actually, I don't think there's going to be any goals right now, so I'm just going to change this over to the third period to final, because it's basically final at this point. Carolina has in the offensive zone, 55 seconds left in the third period right now, and Carolina's got the puck back in the neutral zone. Let's see here. They're content to just wait this out. 45 seconds left in the game. 25 seconds left on the power play. Once again, so that goes there. Once again, Carolina's got in the offensive zone. Blake has it across to Stankoven, shoots, it's stopped. 10 seconds left in the power play and 30 seconds left in the third period. Carolina's got it. They just backhand it to no one. And it looks like there's some more rough stuff going on with 6 seconds left in the power play. 25 seconds left in the third. Sealer's going after Stankoven, it looks like, after it was Ristolainen going after Stankoven. No problem, Marshall, for the broadcast. Once again, if you can, and you have a little bit of time, tune in tomorrow whenever you can. I do appreciate you tuning in. So very interesting out there. Yep, there's a whole bunch of fights happening here with 25 seconds left in the third period. Once again, there's a whole bunch of players here who are just fighting. Oh, there's a huge fight going on between, looks like, Ristolainen and Gostisbehere, I think. Let's see here. Yeah, it's Ristolainen and Gostisbehere fighting along the boards. Once again, there's a whole bunch of rough stuff here going on. Vladar is just looking at it. And yeah, all the referees just trying to break some things up here. Once again, there's a power play for Carolina, so there's only 4 players on the ice here for the Flyers. So once again, there's 2 Carolina Hurricanes players here, Miller and Blake, in on Hathaway. Vladar's trying to pull Miller away, and it looks like these guys are all just going to get misconducts at this point. So once again, there's only 25 seconds left in the third, 6 seconds left on the power play here for Carolina. And they're content with just basically going into the rest of this game, they're content with not fighting, but the Philadelphia Flyers are going to try and start some things. Once again, that is Rick Tocchet sort of hockey, playoff-style hockey, rough and tumble things. And if you're down, you're going to try and start some fights. So very interesting to note there. 6 seconds left in the power play here for the Hurricanes. There is 25 seconds left in the third period. Shots are 30-19 in favor of the Hurricanes right now. And once again, this started by Ristolainen and Stankoven going after it, cross-checking each other. Sealer stepped in, then tried to fight Stankoven. And then basically everything broke loose. Gostisbehere came in, started fighting with Ristolainen, and yeah, there was just a whole bunch of melee in the Philadelphia Flyers end. So fighting all around here between Carolina and Philadelphia. There's 6 seconds left in the Hurricanes' current power play, and there is 25 seconds left in the third period. So this game is almost over, but once again, they have a lot more scrums coming in this game. So once again, I will be here with you guys until the game concludes. The scoreline hits 0. So once again, I'll be with you guys for about 25 seconds game time, but that just depends on how much longer it takes for all the power plays and penalties to be handed out. So you guys are not missing anything. We're currently in a stoppage. There's just a whole bunch of fights. So there's some more misconducts and penalties being handed out here. There's only 25 seconds left in the third period. So once again, the Carolina Hurricanes are going to take this game, take the series, and the Carolina Hurricanes are going to take this game in regulation 4-1, couple of really good special teams plays, and they take a 3-0 series lead into Game 4, where on Saturday, they're going to have a shot to sweep the Philadelphia Flyers, that they sweep the Ottawa Senators, and go into the Eastern Conference Final 8-0 in the postseason. So that's going to be very interesting to see what happens there on. That's going to be very interesting to see what happens there on Saturday if the Carolina Hurricanes go through round 1 and round 2 without having lost one game. Once again, this is making a very compelling argument for the Hurricanes to be the Stanley Cup favorites from the Eastern Conference to make the Stanley Cup final. But like I said, the Hurricanes, they always do really well in round one, most times in round two. They just have very weird problems for getting out of round three. So, like, I do think they will be able to make the conference final, but will they be able to beat Buffalo? Will they be able to beat Montreal? I picked Buffalo over Carolina in the Eastern Conference Finals, so I still think Buffalo has a shot or Montreal has a shot. But it'll be very interesting if Carolina, like at this point, Philadelphia's down 3-0 and they can't score. I don't see them coming in. Maybe they can win game four and make it a respectable series, but I cannot see them come back in the series. Carolina's power play 5-on-3 ends. Carolina has a 5-on-4 power play. There's 15 seconds left. Once again, scrum in the middle. Once again, they're fighting for the loose puck. 10 seconds left here. Once again, the puck gets sent down the ice. 3, 2, 1, and that's it for the third period. Carolina, Philadelphia, game over. Carolina wins this game 4-1, and they will go to game four on Saturday with a chance to do the double sweep. Sweep round one, sweep round two, and make it to their second consecutive Western Conference final. So, very interesting note there. Like I said, I picked Carolina in my predictions in 6 games. This team just has such a suffocating defense. Teams who have no offense like Philadelphia or not a whole bunch of playoff experience like Ottawa, they can't get anything going. I'm hoping Buffalo or Montreal are going to be different and they're going to have to be able to put some goals and pucks past Anderson. But man, starting 7-0 in the postseason, first time I think the Rangers did that when they won the President's Trophy a couple of years ago. And so very interesting out there. Yeah, once again, there were some Philadelphia Flyers fans who left early. We saw that, and they missed all the melee at the end of it. So, very interesting out there. I thank you guys all for your support. I will be live tomorrow at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, streaming Buffalo, Montreal. I hope you guys all tune in for that one. It's going to be a very interesting one. Buffalo looking to try and go up 2-0 in that series. Montreal trying to even it up, heading back home. And after that game, we will be trying to do some other smaller videos, like a mock trade, trade rumor, off-season preview, and once again we try and do daily fan reaction and game recaps. So we'll try and get all that done for you. I thank you guys all for tuning in to this one. Once again, on your way out, leave a subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, tell all your friends. Best hockey content on YouTube is right here at the End to End Hockey channel. So if you can, leave a subscribe. We're trying to hit 750 subscribers in the very near future, and I can't wait to see you guys all hopefully tomorrow for tomorrow's live stream between Montreal and Buffalo. I thank you guys all for your support. I hope you guys have a good day. God bless all of you guys, every one of you guys, and I'll see you guys all for the next video. See you guys soon, and I hope you guys have a good night.